If you were to bite off a kneecap, how would it look?
Woodward Sports, let's go.
Good morning and welcome to the Morning Woodward Show. I'm your host, Adam. Jeff, how was your weekend, buddy?
It was great. How was yours?
It was good. It was good. Kennedy, how you doing today?
I'm great, thank you. Welcome, everyone. Excited to have you here. So I was at Comerica this weekend trying to catch that freaking home run that never happened from Miggy. I was so excited. I was going to catch number 500, but
you and everybody else were going to catch number 500.
Yeah.
It was the only thing anyone was talking about in those stands, but it was great. I'd never seen Comerica like that. Every time Miggy walked up to the plate, everyone was on their feet. It was loud. Everyone was excited. The Miggy chants were going on, but here we are, still waiting.
Yeah, it was an eventful weekend, definitely down at Comerica Park.
Yeah.
Obviously, the Lions played, lost to the Bills, so there was that.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of things happened this weekend.
Yeah, so speaking of which, I missed it because I was at Comerica instead of Ford Field, which
Well, you didn't miss much.
now I'm regretting. Oh, really?
Yeah, that is
Okay,
true.
so that was going to be my problem. Like, you guys, fill me in. What happened?
Well, the Lions lost.
Yeah,
That's
heard
not
that.
shocking news, but it's a preseason game. But they lost. They lost. That's it. Just like Miggy
okay.
didn't hit a home run. It was that simple.
They competed, though.
I mean,
We'll get into it.
his definition of competing. But yeah, we can get right into it. Kind of just to recap the Detroit Lions game. Jeff, what were your takeaways?
I mean, you can't take much away. It's a preseason game, but it was a game the Lions seemingly had won on Randy Bullock's 28-yard field goal with 1:38 left. But the Bills, pulled out a rally of their own and got a 44-yard field goal right back with 15 seconds left. So, it is what it is. To start the game, Goff almost threw an interception immediately. But once Goff got comfortable, the Lions' offense looked decent. It was really a matter of just getting a feel of the playbook. I mean, you heard Goff's press conference. They were running their plays no matter what the defense gave them. So it's not necessarily countering the defense. It's just running their plays and getting used to what they're running. But
Yep.
Dan Campbell, I mean, listen, I'll give this team this. Their time managing skills, great. 18 plays, 70 yards, shoot up 9 minutes of the clock, but didn't score a touchdown.
Time management skills, great.
No, listen, if you want to control the football, that's important, but you got to score a touchdown. That's important. You got to score a touchdown.
One of my biggest problems over the weekend was Dan Campbell's time management in the 2-minute drill.
Yeah,
Which even gave the Buffalo Bills an opportunity to go down and win the game.
If you're
But
taking 9 minutes away from the clock, it's impressive no matter
9
what.
minutes away in the
Well, you
first
got to score,
quarter.
though. You got to score.
They didn't get 7 points. Like, no.
They had, anyway, I wasn't done talking. But anyway,
Continue,
defense
Jeff.
didn't look. Hey, I'll throw this on Adam. Defense didn't look good early, missing a bunch of tackles that shouldn't be missed. But overall, I like the competition. Guys like Julian Okror, Bobby Price showing why he should be on that regular roster. He was playing great Friday night. And then Julian Okror, someone who can get after the quarterback, I love. The defensive line looked pretty good. But who I looked at as well, which I want to ask Corey about this when he gets in, Craig Reynolds, someone that, he's RB. He got signed the other day, introduced himself to the team in the huddle during the game, and he played pretty well. But if you had to really take something away, it's, they competed, but an L's an L. I mean, they lost up until that last 30 seconds. No Josh Allen, no Diggs or nothing. You got to get that win. So
the win was irrelevant for me, whether they won or lost. I personally didn't care. My takeaway was Dan Campbell did something I really wish he didn't do. He made 2 very frustrating mistakes. The first came very early on in the game. The Buffalo Bills' first field goal attempt. How many players do you think we had on the field, Jeff, before the Bills called the timeout?
Jesus, I don't want to get into this, Adam. All right,
9 players on the field before the Bills called the timeout and saved us from an embarrassment. And then, of course, we go late into the game. Dan Campbell's time management I was not happy with. It was poor. You give up a 4th and 10, 42-yard bomb down the field. Granted, again, the B team, but these are the little things that cost you games.
Of course.
So am I going to take away that, the Lions lost and the season's over? No, the season's been over. They're in a rebuild. But, that, you don't do that. If Dan Campbell and the Detroit Lions shut him down on 4th down, honestly, you walk away and you're like, you know what? That's a good sign. But it is a preseason game, so I'm not going to sit here and overreact on a Monday to a preseason game. But we've seen it with Patricia. We've seen it with Caldwell. We've seen it with Marinelli, with Schwartz. Blowing 4th quarter leads is a common theme here. And if you want to get the respect of not only your players, but from the media and really the fan base, You got to close out these games. You cannot give anybody, when you're a rookie head coach, you don't want to stockpile ammunition to be used against you. So I'm not going to sit here and just slate Dan Campbell. It's a preseason game. I was very frustrated with the offensive line. They gave up 4 sacks and a total of 7 tackles for loss. Jamal Williams, I believe, averaged 1.6 yards a carry.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't pretty. It wasn't pretty, but I will say the Lions' defensive line gave me a smirk towards the end of the game. I was very happy. Okwara got a sack. A lot of pressures. Granted, only 2 total sacks for the team, but it could have been much more. I was very happy with the pressure they were putting on the quarterback. Jared Goff looked comfortable, but it was a safe game plan. It's the preseason. 7 of 9, only 56 yards. He wasn't trying to throw the ball downfield. And I'll be honest, Lions fans, this is what you're going to have to expect. The dink and dunks. If you get in a 3rd and 7 situation, okay, like Goff is a good 3rd down passer, but anything more than 8, 9, 10 yards, it's going to be a struggle this season for the Detroit Lions. And then you look at Jared Goff, how he performed just on that one drive. It was pretty good. He made the throws he had to make. Amon-Ra St. Brown continues to impress. Tyrell Williams made a nice toe tap on the sideline. There were a lot. Again, we talked about this Friday. Look for the little things. And my takeaway was the Lions did a lot of little things correct. Granted, they didn't do everything correctly, but they did do a lot of little things correctly. And overall, I think it was a positive showing for the Detroit Lions. Jeff, if I were to ask you overall, what can you expect from this team over the next 2 preseason games? Is it going to be something similar to what we saw on Friday?
Yeah, I mean, especially the roster's so new and the coaching staff's so new. Like these guys, it's going to take some games to get these guys, a feel for not only the game plan, but there's a lot of guys they're evaluating. There's guys Dan Campbell hasn't even, fully signed yet. These are games for them to prove themselves. So don't expect it to be, every game means everything. Dan's just trying to get a good feel. I mean, yes, he wants to win. I mean, it seemed like we won until that field goal at the end of the game. But like I said, it's evaluating guys and seeing these receivers. Because one thing I did notice when I was watching the game is the receivers are struggling to get separation, and that's a scary thing, especially in a preseason game. So, with all that said, in the next couple of games, they should be looking just to be more efficient offensively. Maybe he like Dan Campbell mentioned after the game, he wants to see more shots down the field. I mean, obviously they weren't there in the game, but in the future you want to see those types of plays. So just kind of opening up the playbook, probably.
For sure. I think something so important over these next 2 games is you got to run the ball better. You got to run the ball better. If you can't run the ball, it's going to be a longer season than we're even expecting. And we're going to get into this a little later in the show, where we'll go over the Lions' schedule, how many wins we think they're actually capable of going through. We're going to sit down with our Lions beat writer, Corey Woods, go over some of the decisions that were made prior to the game regarding the head athletic trainer. So we have a lot of Lions discussion left. I think, again, overall, the takeaway's got to be, and Dan Campbell said this himself after the game, we wanted to be in a position to win the game. Were they in a position to win the game? I will say yes, they were. But you got to win these games. You got to win the little things. Like, the little things matter. I could care less that the team went 4-0 and then 0-16 or 0-4 and 9. I don't care about that. I care about the little things. And when you give up a 4th and 10 with that amount of time left on the clock in the 4th quarter, you don't want this to be a habit. You want to eliminate this stuff. So when you're Dan Campbell, you walk in the locker room after the game, guys, that can never happen again. As long as I'm the head coach of the Detroit Lions, that should never, ever, ever, ever happen again. And that's what he's got to do, because Lions fans are too accustomed to it. And speaking of being accustomed to things, the Lions fans are traumatized, and we have a topic later on discussing some Detroit sports moments that are unforgettable, and I'll elaborate more on that a little later. But before we get to the break, I want to tell everybody about my good friends at MyBookie. Obviously, you guys know I'm a betting man. I can't help it. I'll tell you later today whether I'm taking the Lions over under on their win total. But over the weekend, I had some fun. I did have Tatis Jr. getting a home run in his return from the IL. A nice $50 bet turned out. I paid $320 on MyBookie, so I'm a very happy man. But sign up today. Use code Woodward. You won't be disappointed. MyBookie. Visit mybookie.com. Again, use code Woodward. They will match up your deposit up to 50%. You put in $100, you'll get $50. $200, you get $100. Safe bet. We'll see you right after the break.
I'm looking to bring on another HVAC tech right now.
We are recruiting 5 to 10 techs a month.
We're looking to grow and expand. Every new tech we hire is from Northwestern Tech.
The hands-on training is fantastic.
They're always my first call.
We love hiring Northwestern Tech grads.
They come out trained and ready to work.
Our program is only 10 and a half months, and our next classes are starting soon. So why wait?
I'm looking to hire
Hire a graduate
of Northwestern Tech.
Northwestern Tech.
Northwestern Tech.
Welcome back, everyone. So we talk about this a lot on this network. Well, at least Art does. That hurt people hurt people. We say it all the time. I think that if anyone has been the most vocal about their trauma, it's probably been our friend Adam here and Terry Foster. They often talk about they don't buy into the hype anymore, especially in the preseason, that we're always drinking our Kool-Aid, things like that. So we ran a little poll on Twitter. If you could change one of these moments in Detroit history, which would it be? So throw up the graphic, and I want to hear it from you guys. What would you have changed?
Well, we can just name the four first, right?
Yep.
So you have, obviously, the no pass interference call against the Detroit Lions versus the Dallas Cowboys. You have Robert Ory's three-point shot. You have the infamous David Ortiz grand slam in Game 2 of the ALCS. And, of course, Lidstrom's miss in Game 7 towards the end, which looked like a pretty open net shot. And this didn't surprise me at all. And Jeff, I'm going to let you... Actually, I'm going to go first on this. Because Uncle Adam's got to tell a story. So this should tell you everything you need to know about the relationship between the Detroit Lions and their fan base. Look how traumatized Detroit Lions fans are.
Rightfully so.
There was 8 minutes and 25 seconds left when that play started.
It's called momentum.
And 25 seconds left in the game.
That's a big play.
That is not a big play. You know why? Because it was 3rd and 1. They didn't get the pass interference call. Jim Caldwell, like the coward he was, didn't go for it on 4th down. It was 4th and 1. What do? He set his team out there, and they tried to draw them off sides. They punted. Dallas went down and scored. The rest is history. But look how traumatizing that is for Detroit Lions fans. That's where I want to focus on. Not so much the debacle that game was from the Detroit Lions and not only the refs. And considering Jim Caldwell came out after the game and said refs needed to do better. You know what, Jim? You needed to be better that night too. Not going for it on 4th and 1 in the opponent's territory absolutely blows my mind. Regardless, 33% of people polled on our Twitter that they would change that moment in Detroit sports history. They wouldn't change Game 2 of the ALCS, David Ortiz not tying the game, the Tigers potentially going up 2-0, making a run that year, and finally all those pieces, Scherzer, Fielder, like the whole crew, Torrey Hunter. You had so many prime players on the Tigers back then, Miggy, and that was pulled second, which I appreciated, but still, like, not more. Like, how that would have sent this team to the World Series, and they all more than likely would have won it. And then you look down, Lidstrom, that is Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Finals. Game 7. And it's not as important to Detroit Lions fans because of what they've been through over the last 60 years. Red Wings fans are accustomed to winning. And they're telling you, honestly, like, you know, we have enough Stanley Cups, like, Game 7, not that important. That would have sent the game into overtime, changed all the momentum. Likely, the Detroit Red Wings walk away with back-to-back Stanley Cups. And then again, the last one. Who can forget? Robert Ory, Sheed going on Manu on the sideline. Why? What are you doing, Sheed? They take a 3-2 lead in the series. The Pistons do come back, make it 3-3, but eventually lose and fall in Game 7. But you go up 3-2 in that series, it's over. It's over.
No.
It's over. And again, like, how are we changing a pass interference call? There were 8 minutes left in the game. All of these scenarios, there was nothing left. Nothing left.
You can't make that argument that they would have been up 3-2 in the series, they would have won the series, and then make the argument there's 8 minutes left in that football game, because anything could happen. So that was actually the one situation I struggled picking was the Robert Ory games, the big shot, because if he doesn't hit that shot, momentum changes in that series drastically, and we could have possibly had a repeat. But can I start with what I just want to say my argument real quick? All right, who I picked and why. So I agree with Lions fans, because if you look at those decisions, all right, between all those scenarios, the Detroit Lions franchise obviously being the most struggling franchise and being through the most poor performances, all right, than on the other franchise. But if you look at that particular season, It was a big season for the Detroit Lions franchise. Caldwell led the Lions to 11-5 record after a 7-9 season playoff berth. And listen, wild card game. I know it's just a wild card game, but for Lions fans, that's huge. Against America's team, who were 12-4 that season, with Tony Romo behind center, who was having a monster year, along with DeMarco Murray, who went down in that game. All right, so everything's looking good. Giving the Lions fans hope. Even our guy, Joy Bell, at the network was making plays. All right, Reggie Bush making plays. Defense was at its best. Sue getting after the quarterback. See, everything's going great. 8:25 left to go in the fourth quarter. 3rd and 1. All right, I get it. Preferably run the ball. But past the Brandon Pettigrew called a PI on Anthony Hitchens, the most clearest PI since the Rams on the Saints 2 years ago. Clear as day. Announced, but then called back, which I've never seen happen. I don't understand.
Let's not forget about the Des Bryant walking onto the field, or running onto the field, I should say, without a helmet. That also should have been a penalty.
So this is the reason why I'm saying these things is because, listen, the Detroit Lions were being the only time at that time, franchise that had a real shot at least making it far in the playoffs. Because,
the Lions?
Yeah, because the Tigers were doing pretty good that year.
That was 2013. The Tigers were in the ALCS.
Yeah, so the Tigers were good. But I'm saying besides the Tigers, Pistons were poverty. The Wings were decent. But the Lions were against America's team. It was a big time for them. They and after that PI, they didn't go for it on 4th and 1. You can argue that. But the question is, what would you change? And it'd be that moment, because there wouldn't even be a 4th and 1 argument. There wouldn't be all these things. They'd be deeper in Cowboys territory, chance to score a field goal to go up 23-17, or possibly score to go up 24-17. So it's just the momentum and how big that would have been to have a playoff win. When we make fun of Matthew Stafford in this Lions franchise for not having a playoff win since '91, to me that's the biggest one, because it affected so much, and we're still today discussing why the Lions and Matthew Stafford haven't done absolute nothing in the playoffs. I just think that meant so much more than the other ones, at least in the poll.
I think emotionally, fans geared towards that non-PI call because of the after. But again, you had a whole entire quarter almost to come back and win that football game. You got the ball back after Dallas scored, and you couldn't move the ball downfield. Like, the Lions had every opportunity after that. This is what doesn't make sense to me. You could have gone to the World Series, won back-to-back Stanley Cups, won back-to-back NBA Finals, and Lions fans are choosing, or not Lions fans, just Detroit sports fans in general are choosing the non-PI call, because that's how traumatized they are, Jeff. And that's what I'm trying to get across from you. All three of them are much more significant than the Lions wildcard game. How many wildcard teams eventually make a Super Bowl and actually win it? It doesn't happen so often. So the irony in all of this is how traumatized Detroit Lions fans are. Because this is the most hurtful, spiteful moment they will never live down. You think the Saints fans are upset? They got a Super Bowl. They're good. They're chilling. They got Sean Payton. Saints fans are all good. Everything's amazing. Jeff, you couldn't. This poll makes no sense. It shouldn't be 33% Lions. The Lions should be the 10, 12, 14%, because it was a wild card game. They were 9-7. They barely got into the playoffs. It was a mediocre. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. I'm sorry. Those three are championship-changing moments that I would rather change, because you know what? Something the Lions don't know how to do is win a championship. The other sports teams have actually done it. You're talking back-to-back NBA champions, back-to-back Stanley Cup champions, and it would have been finally the Tigers delivering on a coveted World Series that Ilitch had invested so much in, the story behind Ilitch, and him investing all the money, getting that team to where they were. Scherzer, Prime Verlander. You had so many pieces. And your heart was broken in Fenway. Your heart was broken in Fenway. For me, that would have been number one. But again, it shows just how inept and traumatized the Detroit Lions organization has, what they've done to the city of Detroit. A pass interference call with 8 minutes in the game, in a wild card game, is more important to Detroit sports fans than any of the three, which all had championship implications. It blows my mind.
I mean, I guess in that sense you can argue that, but in terms of the importance of each event, you won the argument. Obviously, it's a wild card game, but I'm talking about the franchise itself and the poverty they've went through. Until that point, having a real chance.
You want to know what poverty is in the NFL? Being a Buffalo Bills fan, losing 4 straight Super Bowls, and now having Josh Allen losing in the AFC Championship game. At least they're progressing. A non-PI call in a wild card game. That's what we're clinging on for and so frustrated with as Detroit Lions fans. Really? How about starting 6-2 and finishing 1-7? How about that? How about you get mad at that? Oh, God,
it just
Lions
shows
fans drive me nuts.
It just shows football's important to these guys. And
football's
fans.
very important, but it was a wild card game. 8 minutes and 25 seconds.
A wild card
left.
game that the Lions
It was a non-PI call.
Sniffed.
We all agree it should have been a pass interference call. We can all agree on that. That should have been flagged for running onto the field without a helmet. We can go back and look at everything. We're not wrong. It was a PI call. It should have, but who cares? It didn't happen. You had championship implication moments that you're willing to not change just so the Lions could potentially get a field goal, go up 23-17, and then probably blow the game still, or even go up 27, or even go up 27-17, and still find a way like the Lions always do to blow and lose the game. I'm sorry. I'm taking a World Series trip. I'm taking back-to-back NBA championships. I'm taking back-to-back Stanley Cup championships. I'm not taking a wild card. What, a wild card win? That's what I'm rooting for as a Detroit Lions fan? No, I want to be in the playoffs on a consistent basis, winning a few, making a push for the NFC Championship game, and potentially winning it. I want to be relevant. I want to be consistently good, like the Packers have been, like the Niners, the Seahawks. Go look at the roadmap is there. It's so it's stop clinging on to the frustrations of the past as a Detroit Lions fan. You're not going to get over it. You'll never get over it. You'll just be depressed for the rest of your life. Look forward to it. Art, you're laughing, but I'm being serious. You'll be depressed for the rest of your life if you just look back at every Lions. Like, if I go over the last 25 Lions seasons, I swear, by 14, you might be in fetal position. It's that bad.
Yeah. And no one's arguing. Listen, I'm not arguing those events that the Lions wildcard game was more important than any of the other games. I'm just arguing that moment was so obviously. Woodward sports fans agree that had more effect on them mentally because the Lions have not been relevant since or before since 1991.
They were never relevant.
I know.
This is what frustrates me.
There's one chance they had to win a playoff game. They didn't win.
I don't know whose comments you're reading off that tablet, but it's bullshit. I'll tell you why.
No one's reading.
Let me tell you why.
This guy's
the most heart-wrenching and heartbreaking moment on that list is the Ortiz Grand Slam.
To you, yes.
Not to me. I'll tell you why. Let me educate you a little bit. Maybe you were like 6 years old when it happened. I don't know. I don't forget how old you are sometimes. David Ortiz hitting that Grand Slam. Torrey Hunter falling into right field, falling over. It changed everything. The Tigers never recovered, and it was the last dying chance, literally, Illich's last dying chance to put out a World Series contender. That is the most tragic moment of the 4. So I'll never live it down. Time to move on from less depressing things. When we get back from the break, we got some positivity to look forward to. But before we go to the break, Jeff, why don't you tell everybody about our friends at Coast?
Oh, I got you. Since 1919, Coast has pursued one mission: to make the working professional's job safer and life easier. Today, Coast lights are a favorite amongst tradesmen and women, outdoor enthusiasts, first responders, and more. Visit coastportland.com and use code WSN20 for 20% off your purchase. They stand by their products and back them up with a lifetime warranty. Buying for your whole crew? Sign up with our Coast crew to take advantage of special discounts, early access to new products, and more. Again, that 20% off code is WSN20.
Hi, I'm David Hall from Hall Financial. And at Hall Financial, we treat our clients like family. And our number one priority is giving each of our clients 5-star service. Our passion for 5-star service, combined with our expertise, allows us to find the best possible solution for refinancing your home loan. We take the time to focus on both the individual and the numbers. We're going to walk you through the process and close your loan in half the time of our competition. Go to davidhallmortgage.com today.
Welcome, everyone. All right, so I do have to admit I had the tiniest bit of FOMO over the weekend. I absolutely adore Penei Sewell. I'm excited for him, but my entire Twitter feed was full of field type. And I was just like, Man, I mean, we could have had him. We could have. And I just don't know now. I'm feeling a little mixed emotions about the whole thing because now we have Sewell, which is great, but everyone is so gassed about Fields right now. So I just want to know, what is your guys' outlook on this NFC North quarterback debacle thing? Should we have Fields instead of Goff? Let me know.
Jeff, I'll let you start.
No, we should not have Fields. And I was the one at the draft who liked Fields because he's a talented quarterback, but we don't need him. The Lions have many holes to fill besides quarterback. We traded for a guy, a former number 1 overall pick who made the Super Bowl, and now you're telling me you're going to take a quarterback at Ohio State who, in the past, multiple quarterbacks have fallen and failed. But you're asking me to take this guy over, we had defensive line holes to fill. We needed better offensive line. We had a generational talent fall in our hands in Penei Sewell. And no, I just don't see it. He would have sat the first year anyway. He wouldn't. I mean, I don't think he would have played much unless Jared Goff absolutely bombed the first season. I just don't think he would have fixed all our issues. So no.
Okay, so you're kind of missing the point here. Regarding if the Lions should have drafted Justin Fields, I'll agree. No. You have Jared Goff. He's on a $35 million contract. The Lions. The thing about drafting a quarterback that people forget. Oh, people passed on Mahomes. They passed on Watson. Well, you know what? Like, teams have holes. And when you have, like, a bridge quarterback and you don't have to take a quarterback in the first round, you can make your football team better. So drafting Penei Sewell ideally makes this football team a lot better. It secures the offensive line for the next 10, 12, 15 years. It's a very good long-term thinking decision. And again, the Detroit Lions know they have 4 first-round picks in the next 2 seasons. They're going to go get their quarterback. Mm-hmm. They're not stressing it. So do I think we should have this fear of missing out on Justin Fields? No, but I will say watch out. Watch out. The Bears and Justin Fields might have been a match made in heaven. The Bears might have finally figured it out at quarterback. You're looking at the future, the current and the future outlook. That's how I'm judging this by, and I'm giving these ratings. Based on the current situation and the future situation for the Chicago Bears, I got their stock all the way up. Like, this is a match made in heaven. I think it's a good fit. Matt Nagy is a creative play caller. He's a creative head coach. I think although the defense is probably at their peak on the decline, it's still a good enough football team to compete in the division, win 9, maybe even 10 games, especially if Justin Fields is the quarterback. And people can scoff at, he threw to an open receiver. It's not the point. It's are you putting yourself in a position to make your team better? And Justin Fields showed up and did that, played much better than Andy Dalton did. And then you go look at Trey Lance, first throw of the game, 80-yard touchdown, bang. Well, how'd he finish, though? 5 of 14. Justin Fields showed his willingness to fight through adversity. He had a horrible first half. Comes out in the second half, 2 touchdowns. The rest is history. So for me, the Chicago Bears are on the up. I don't have this fear of missing out that we didn't draft Justin Fields. I think it would have been irresponsible, considering if you try to get rid of Goff in the next 2 seasons, it's going to ruin your cap space. You need to draft a quarterback next year or the year after. That way you can build your team on a $4, $5, $6, $7 million contract at quarterback, and you have all the salary cap space to build a real Super Bowl contender. So I think the Bears are in a good situation. The next situation we have really is with Jared Goff now. So you have to address the situation with Jared Goff. And for me, the Lions and Jared Goff are on the decline. And here's why. You have a quarterback that is on the last 2 years of an overpaid contract, $35 million. He is your bridge quarterback. So from an organizational standpoint, the Lions are trending up. I think this will be a good football team in 2 to 3 years. But regarding their quarterback situation, it's trending down. They don't have a future. They don't have the future in place currently. They need to draft one. So I could change my mind come this upcoming draft. If they draft and should draft a quarterback, then that will probably be a green arrow, and they'll be trending upwards. And then Goff plays the next season. That quarterback sits, and then you move on from Goff. You bring in your quarterback. You have a free agency class of very strong, talented veterans. You have a good contending team in 3 years, 2-3 years. So unfortunately, the quarterback situation in Detroit is trending down to me. Trending down for me. What do you think, Jeff?
I think, listen, Adam can say all that, but the point still stands. If Penei Sewell's gone, I could see why you look at Justin Fields, but you take the best player available. So I can understand why Chicago took Justin Fields. They have, good defense. They have decent wide receivers. They needed a quarterback. They fixed that problem. But in terms of the quarterback situation for Detroit, we don't even know, dude. The season hasn't even started.
Oh, we know. He's a bridge quarterback.
We don't know.
He is a bridge quarterback.
We'll figure that out as the season progresses.
He is a bridge quarterback.
Daddy's
telling you. Listen to Uncle Adam.
You're going to tell me a bridge. Why does a bridge quarterback win playoff games and get to the Super Bowl? I don't understand.
A bridge quarterback. Trent Dilfer won a Super Bowl. Let's clarify a few things.
Okay,
Trent Dilfer. Joe Flacco won a Super Bowl.
He's a bridge
He was out in 2 years. Joe Flacco and Trent Dilfer.
I'm joking.
Careful now, Jeff.
I'm joking because I'm sounding like Adam.
Careful, Jeff.
They're bridge quarterbacks.
Jared Goff was. He is a bridge quarterback. Here's why. His team, his former employer, was willing to give him up and 2 first-round picks just to get rid of him. That's how much they thought of it.
Yes.
For Matthew
Stafford.
Matthew Stafford isn't light years. Matthew Stafford isn't light years ahead of anybody. He's I'm not saying that. He's a borderline very good quarterback. He's not great. So Matthew Stafford, just based off of comparing the 2 quarterbacks, is a better quarterback than Jared Goff. So ideally, in a common sense world, the Rams have significantly gotten better at the most important position in football, and the Lions have downgraded. So he is a bridge quarterback. They have 4 first-round picks over the next 2 years. You're delusional if you don't think that they're not going to draft a quarterback in the next 2 seasons. No one's saying that. He is a bridge quarterback. They put him in a situation not to fail, but not to be amazing. The guy is fighting for his next contract. He's not fighting to be the future of the Detroit Lions. I'm sorry. Art, why are you raising your hand?
I'd like to know, and Jeff, maybe you could explain this to me. Why is Adam making all of these claims when it's week 1 of the preseason, saying that he's a bridge quarterback?
What are my claims?
You can't call a guy a bridge quarterback before he hasn't even played a snap. He hasn't even played. Let's just play hypotheticals because I love those. If he comes out this season, has a great year.
What's a great year for you?
I don't know. 35 touchdowns, 10 picks, 9 picks.
35 touchdowns and 9
Let's
picks.
just say this guy goes off. Let's just say this guy. I don't think it's possible.
You're just as delusional as half the fan base.
Okay, I'm just saying.
35 touchdowns.
Let's play what if. He has a great season. You asked me to name numbers. Fuck it. I'm not going to name numbers. But let's just say he has a great season. What happens then? They still draft a quarterback. We trade him for what?
It's proven in the NFL you can't win when you're overpaying your quarterback. Tom Brady is the king of taking pay cuts, and that's why he's in a situation every single year to win. Aaron Rodgers even taking pay cuts. Everybody is taking pay cuts because you can't have all of your salary cap into the quarterback position. That's what the Lions have right now with Jared Goff. They're not. Jared Goff's only chance is if he plays relatively good. Even if he plays, let's say your standards, he plays great.
Not my standards, Adam.
Let's say hypothetically,
yes.
he plays amazing. He comes out 35 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. You think Jared Goff in a free market 2 years from now is going to take $22 to $24 million to stay with the Lions instead of going to cash in $38 million, which is what he'll be valued at if he performs like that? No, I don't want to hear it. The Lions, it's clear as day. I couldn't be more clear. He is a bridge quarterback.
Okay, that's fine.
But we're not going to spend too much time.
I'm just saying, can we just let the season? We'll just wait till the season starts. All right. I'm
Look,
sure. Either way, we're drafting
the
a quarterback. Either way, we're gonna. I agree. We're gonna.
So that means he's going to be a bridge quarterback. Until you find the right quarterback for the future, he is a bridge quarterback. That is a bridge quarterback.
That's fine.
When you have a quarterback in place and you're going to move on from knowing you're going to move on from him in 2 years.
Okay. But no, I was arguing the point about the quarterback going downward. All right.
It is trending downwards. They downgraded at quarterback. They should be going downwards.
Right.
It's that simple.
That's fine. We'll just agree to disagree. Whatever.
All right. Well, the next quarterback is Kirk Cousins and the Minnesota Vikings. Again, another team I think is trending downwards. And I'm sure we can agree. Kellen Mond's the backup there. He didn't look too hot in his first preseason game, but Patrick Surtain did look good in that game. Good steal for the Denver Broncos. They're known for drafting corners well. But we're going to focus on Kirk Cousins and the Minnesota Vikings. You're looking at the future outlook of the NFC North. Right now you have Justin Fields, Chicago Bears trending upwards. The Lions, until they draft a quarterback, trending downwards. And the Vikings are going to join the Lions, in my opinion, in trending downwards. Kirk Cousins is Matthew Stafford with uglier hair and a less talented arm. That's about it. Same quarterback. And you want to compliment people for playoff wins. This guy's got a playoff win. So it doesn't mean everything just because quarterbacks walk into a situation and they win a playoff game. You're looking for consistency. Multiple playoff wins. Not just one spectacle year and then you never win again. But regardless, the Vikings got to move on from Kirk Cousins. I'm not sure if Mond is their guy. We'll see how he develops. No. I mean, not the best preseason showing, but again, he could change my mind next preseason. So we'll see. They're trending downwards for now with Kirk Cousins at their quarterback. No clear future starting quarterback in the next 3 to 5 years. For me, that's concerning. They're overpaying for Kirk Cousins, but they'll get rid of him soon. So again, the Vikings could change my opinion if they have a bust season and they go draft quarterback high in the draft. They could be trending upwards. But for now, in the NFC North, I have them trending downwards. What do you think?
Downwards.
Downwards? Yeah, I think this one was clear.
Yeah, I don't
there
need
wasn't
much
to say
explanation.
on this. And then the last one, I think there's no doubts. Trending upwards, the Green Bay Packers.
Yeah.
They've been trending upwards for the last 40 years. You can't do anything about it. From Brett Favre to Aaron Rodgers, Jordan Love played pretty impressively in his first game for the Green Bay Packers this preseason. He looked sharp. He made good throws. I'm not saying he's going to be a world beater like Aaron Rodgers, but we're talking about future outlook. If that's what I'm getting out of Jordan Love, that's nice. I like that. I kind of like that. It might not be great, but it might be good, very good.
Yeah.
And in this division, all you need is good to very good to win it.
And
so
it's tough
for me, they have Aaron Rodgers for the next 2 seasons guaranteed. Whether he stays on after, we don't know. But if that's Jordan Love, I kind of like that. They're trending upwards for me.
I'll agree. They're trending upwards. This is tough because Jordan Love, the only game I've seen of him is one preseason game. So I don't know if they're trending upwards, but as long as Aaron's there, they're trending upwards.
Yeah.
So I'll leave it at that.
Aaron does kind of carry the weight on that, to be honest. But again, when you're watching a quarterback in preseason, is he making protection reads? Is he changing the protection at the line of scrimmage? Is he making throws downfield? Like, we can all scoff at people's numbers during the preseason, but you're not looking at the numbers. Did he make the throws he was supposed to make? And yes, he did. The Packers are trending upwards. I'm sorry, Patty. They're trending upwards. Back-to-back NFC Championship appearances. They're the lead favorite to win the division this year. Go tell me the last time the Lions were in pole position to win the division. Oh, I'm sorry, you can't. So the Packers are clearly the number 1 team in this division. They have Aaron Rodgers for the next 2 years. So based on current and future outlook, they're trending upwards for the next 2 seasons. On top of that, Jordan Love actually had a good showing in the preseason so far. So, I'm sorry, they're actually kind of trending upwards. I don't know how more clear I can be. Jeff, anything?
Again, it's hard because when you see trending upward, you're saying they'll be fine after Aaron Rodgers. I don't know if I agree with that. So it's tough.
But just based on the information we haven't seen Jordan Love play a lick in the regular season, right? And we all still have question marks on Jordan Love. We can all agree on that. But based on what I saw, just the first preseason game, I saw some things that, you know what? I can work with that. I'm not saying he needs to be Aaron Rodgers. If he gives me Kirk Cousins' performance, that means I can win the division every 3-4 years. If he turns out to be Kirk Cousins, I win the division every 3 to 4 years, or I compete for it every other year. That's not bad. The Lions were competing for the division every 4 years with a better quarterback in Matthew Stafford. So again, I trust the Packers organization, who have a history of putting together good football teams. So go ahead, Art.
You agree with Moron? I just realized that his name is Moron. You said Rodgers.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, Rodgers make them basically a guaranteed playoff team.
Yeah, yes. I mean, they are. There's no way you can... There's so many things that would have to happen for the Green Bay Packers not to make the playoffs. Aaron Rodgers would have to get hurt. Devontae Adams would have to be sidelined. Like, things that you're not expecting for. Like, if Aaron Rodgers misses the whole season, of course they're not going to make the playoffs. Maybe they're an 8-7 win team with Jordan Love, but that's just because how talented their roster is. But no, I mean, no. The Green Bay Packers are trending upwards. They have the franchise guy in place for the next 2 seasons. They can re-up him after if he chooses. If he's happy with them, he will stay. And that's just going to be more bad news. And in today's NFL, quarterbacks are playing longer. Go ahead, Art.
You've got another comment from John Jones, and not the UFC John Jones, just some guy
I'm
named
not
John
overhyping
Jones.
him. I said I saw nice things. I'm taking away from one game of seeing Jordan Love. I saw some things I like. Go watch Zach Wilson. Go watch Trey Lance.
For the next preseason game, you might see things you don't like, so we'll just wait.
Yeah, it's the preseason, but you're here to evaluate guys. Are they making the throws? It's so easy to say you're overhyping him, just like with Justin Fields. But you know what? He went out there, and he did his job. He did what he was supposed to. He completed the passes he was supposed to make. He made them all. I liked it. It was good. Considering his situation in Green Bay with a Matt LaFleur, Aaron Rodgers above him, it's a great situation for him. Will he be great? No, I don't know. He could be, but I think he'll be a good quarterback. If you get a Kirk Cousins-esque career out of Jordan Love, that is good enough for the Green Bay Packers over the next 10 years to compete for the division half the time.
So not really Jeff, but Jeff's making light analysis off of the preseason, and you're going all in.
I'm not going all in. The Green Bay Packers are trending upwards because they have Aaron Rodgers at quarterback.
And I understand
for the next 2 seasons. Currently and in the future, they're set for the next 2 seasons.
But
now you look at their backup quarterback, Jordan Love, who we haven't seen enough of. I saw nice things. If you watch Jordan Love play, he made throws, he made protection changes at the line of scrimmage. I liked what I saw. I'm not saying he's the second coming of Joe Montana, but I saw enough that I'm like, you know what? If I was a head coach, if I was a GM, okay, I like that. I can see something that I can work with.
Is it enough to say they're trending upward at the quarterback position?
I mean, they're trending upwards because of Aaron Rodgers.
But once he's trending upwards, in my eyes, means when Aaron leaves and Jordan Love takes over, they're trending upwards. That, like, if anything, they're trending downwards.
Based on the information we have now, they are. And I'll tell you what. Again, Jordan Love, first preseason game, it looked kind of nice. It wasn't amazing. It wasn't spectacular. It wasn't like, oh my God, he's going to be a world beater. But it was nice. It was competent. It was good. That's more than the Lions have had over the last 20 years.
Adam, what you're doing right now is we lost by 1 point to a playoff team. So it's either preseasons matter or they don't.
Their starting quarterback didn't even play. No,
but the Lions,
I'm not talking about wins and losses. I'm talking about an individual performance.
The Lions also went 4-0 in the season. They went 0-16.
Right,
so
exactly.
It doesn't
so
matter.
to me, does preseason mean anything?
You're looking for the little things in preseason. And I saw Jordan Love make sideline throws, quick outs. I seen him throw the ball 15, 20, 25 yards downfield and complete the ball. That's what you want from your quarterback. I saw him taking command of the huddle. Like, that's all I need to see. I'm not saying he's going to be a top 10 quarterback in 2 years. No. But based on the information I have right now, the Packers are trending upwards. But that's all I can say for now. We got to head to break.
Lions 10-7.
Sorry. God. Sorry about when we come back, there's some news that happened over the weekend about Jim Harbaugh and the coaches poll. Did he make it? Did he not make it in the top, I believe it was 20 head coaches in college football right now? We'll get to that right after the break. You're tuning into the Morning Woodward Show here on the Woodward Sports Network.
Would you like to win a custom-built chopper while helping our veterans at the same time?
Then watch as we turn this bike into a one-of-a-kind classic chopper.
Watch the Call Sam Chopper Shop on our social media channels and get your raffle ticket today at callsam.com/chopper shop.
Welcome back to the Morning Woodward Show here on the Woodward Sports Network. Fun announcement for all of our viewers watching at home, especially on Facebook. We'll be making some changes to how we'll be streaming in the near future. This week will be our final week streaming live on Facebook. You can still catch us on our app. Download the app. It's on the Apple Store, on the Android Store. You can catch us there. You can catch us on YouTube, on Twitter. Don't leave us. Follow us on YouTube. But again, this will be the final week. We'll be on Facebook. Thank you guys for your continued support all this time on Facebook. We really appreciate everybody tuning in. But going forward, we'll be live strictly on the app, Twitter, and YouTube going forward. Kennedy, what's next?
What's up? So I wasn't super surprised by this, but the Detroit media, for some reason, kind of took this story and ran with it. So Jim Harbaugh missed out on the top college coaches or head coaches list. So this wasn't surprising to me at all, because to me, if you can't hang with the best, who for now is Coach Saban, you shouldn't be on the list. So what do you think about Jim Harbaugh missing the list? Should he have been on it, Jeff, or are you with me on this one?
Obviously, Nick Saban takes the number one spot, but overall, no. He's underperformed considering the expectations. I mean, after losing to a tremendously talent-wise worst program in MSU, who's trending upwards, if we're talking about trending upwards. But last year, 2-4, losing to MSU. I mean, partial lack of success is because he's never really had an excellent QB or speedy receivers like Ohio State. But that's no excuse. You're expected to beat those guys. So they're stagnant on offense still. I mean, I think personally, former alumni and fans are sick of the subpar endings to seasons that have maybe great, records and they don't end as well. It's just they're sick of the BS. So I don't have no problem with him being left off this list until he really shows, especially Michigan fans or people in college football, that he deserves to be.
Could you clarify for me what not only your expectations are for Jim Harbaugh, because we're going to get to that a little later on the whole season in general, but since day one, Jim Harbaugh walked in till now, what's your evaluation of him? Has he done a good job, or are you just, no, this guy is not the right guy for Michigan, get him out of here, get him out of my program, he's not delivered on anything, whatever it may be. He's lost to Ohio State every single time. He's lost to MSU. Who can forget the botched punt? I just want you to clarify before I start.
So with Jim Harbaugh, ever since he's got there, it's like, if you look at the prestige of the maize and blue of Michigan and all the success they've had previously in Michigan football, and Jim Harbaugh comes in there, former NFL coach, you expect great things. But after only beating unranked opponents and falling short to Big Brother Ohio State and other teams that sometimes are not even that good, and they're still finding a way to win, it's tough. And I don't think he has any excuse. I think it's more this year, expectations-wise, than just a bowl game. I mean, the guy has to make some noise because he has to win these alumni back. He's got to win these fans back, and because people are expecting him to already be out. He comes back on a discounted deal. So I don't want to say he's on the hot seat, but if he doesn't impress this year, he's going to be trending downwards for sure. He'll be on the way out.
Okay, so here's where I'm at with Jim Harbaugh and his 6 seasons with Michigan. I think, one, he should be in the best head coaches in college football. If it's a top 20, he's got to be around 15 to 20, just based off of last season, how abysmal it was. But I'm just going to put into context to you Jim Harbaugh's first 6 seasons compared to, I think we can all agree, one of the best head coaches in college football right now, Tebow Sweeney. Now, you look at their first 6 seasons, so similar. But what's different about being the head coach at Clemson and Michigan? Well, in that time span, you have the ACC. It's not the Big Ten. It doesn't have an Ohio State every single year recruiting, dominating the way it typically does. So you're talking these two guys, very similar career paths, but look at the strength of schedule difference over these first 6 seasons. Dabo Sweeney, keep in mind, he scheduled SEC teams towards I want to say the last 3 seasons of the 6. He was scheduling SEC teams, Big 12 teams. He was going out and fighting those teams. So he was putting together a good schedule. You know what his strength of schedule was on average? 3.08. Michigan's, under Jim Harbaugh, during that same time, 5.49. Ohio State every year goes out and plays a Big 12 team, a Pac-10 team. He goes out and plays an SEC team. Jim Harbaugh has faced one of the most difficult periods as a Michigan coach, in my opinion, than any coach prior to him. Michigan, in the last 40 meetings against Ohio State, have lost 25 of them. Michigan hasn't been what you guys think it is, and that's where my biggest frustration is with any of this. It's this perception that Harbaugh's not one of the good coaches. What do you mean? 3 10-win seasons, a 9-win, an 8-win, 2 times under Jim Harbaugh. You've walked into the Ohio State game ranked 2nd in the nation and 3rd in the nation. One of them, double overtime loss. The other, a horrible spot that totally cost you the game. This team was so close to getting to a college football playoff and playing for the Big Ten title so many times under Jim Harbaugh, more than anybody prior to him. And then you look at just their national credentials. How are they being rated? How are they being rated in the polls? What do their peers think of them? Under the 6 years of Jim Harbaugh, they've been put in the top 7 4 times. At 4 different times, they've been in the top 7. Out of all the teams in the NCAA. And you know how many times they were under the 7 years prior to Jim Harbaugh? Only 1 time did they crack the top 7. And that was including the year Brady Hoke took them to the 11-win season. Jim Harbaugh has brought this team to a different level of not only national respect, but he's really helped elevate the brand and bring it back to what we all think it should be. Has he delivered on the big games and the rivals? No. I will never defend Jim Harbaugh on that. He's been very disappointing in his record, not only against Michigan State, but definitely against Ohio State. But then again, you look at the last 17 meetings against Ohio State. Forget Jim Harbaugh. Go look at the last 17. And Ohio State's won 16 of them.
Expectations are big, man, and when they're first coming in, yes, the hype's there. He's ranked high, but as of lately, I think I've read more articles about coaches anonymously saying that how bogus Michigan is. At least on paper, they're great, but I think people, especially Michigan fans, I mean, the fans are obviously diehard. They're expecting much more, and Jim Harbaugh over the last couple of years, that Kool-Aid's running out, and people are slowly starting to realize that results need to happen. You can't have 10-win seasons and end in nothing. I mean, that's great. You're winning games, but at the end of the day, Michigan wants results. And if you're a program like
Michigan wants results as a program that has been nothing short of lack of results over the last 30 years. So that's what drives me nuts. And that's why, again, I really want to be on the get rid of Jim Harbaugh bandwagon. I really do, considering my frustrations with his performance against good teams. But he's gotten rid of Don Brown. He's gotten rid of him. New year for the defense. I think this season is a good season for Jim. The expectations are low. Fans are frustrated. They've got no respect in the national media right now, which is something, in my opinion, they've been overhyped during his time. And again, going against a powerhouse that's Ohio State, the way they recruit, the ball players they get, yes, it's your job to build a program, but again, Jim Harbaugh in the 6 years, almost identical numbers to Dabo Swinney.
But Dabo's gotten results.
But Dabo, prior to that point, only won one bowl game. One bowl game.
But
Same as Jim Harbaugh.
He doesn't have the expectations like
you know
Jim
what?
Harbaugh.
You know what happened to Dabo Swinney in year 7, 8, and 9? He got Deshaun Watson and Trevor Lawrence. Jim Harbaugh gets a quarterback, a dynamic quarterback.
He's got one now.
If it works out, Michigan wins 9, 10, 11 football games. They just do. He's put together good teams. The problem is they've lost the bowl game every single year for the last 3-4 years. So there's always an additional loss. So instead of being a 9-10 win team, they finish an 8-9 win team. So everyone looks like that's not good enough. That's not good enough. No. They finished 9-3 on the season. They just lost the bowl game. Maybe you should go back and watch how the season went. They obviously lost to Ohio State. They lost a bad loss to Michigan State. They lost to a Penn State who was ranked 10 in the nation at the time. I don't want to go back and be an apologist for Jim Harbaugh, but Michigan fans, you don't know. You're very similar to Lions fans. You don't know what success is. You haven't been relevant since 97. You haven't been relevant since 97. Lloyd Carr got you really close, just like Jim Harbaugh did multiple times, but he's lost the Ohio State games multiple times. That cost that team from getting to a national title game in the BCS era. So, sorry. Jim Harbaugh, for me, could be on the cusp of pulling a Dabo Swinney where he takes the turn. He accepted a lower contract. He's got more hunger in him, hopefully, now than ever. He's addressed the defensive coordinator position and his coaching staff. So this could turn out two ways. Jim Harbaugh explodes over the next 3 seasons, beats Ohio State, wins a Big Ten championship, and makes a college football playoff appearance in the next 3 seasons, or the next 2 seasons he flames out and he's gone, and then Michigan are back to where they've always been. So that's my say on it.
Yeah, I already said my thing. I don't think he's good enough. So it'll be proven with time. Give it this season. He has J.J. McCarthy, and if he can't pop, he's out. So I don't know what you want.
So
they want good. He's not good enough. You can give me subpar. He's great regular season wise. They want results. You can't. Yeah,
but
if
when
the
have they ever
Lions were in the
gotten
playoffs
results?
every single year the last 10 years and got bounced immediately, what would you say?
If the Lions got in the
Let's say we
playoffs
had success and we just never made it far. We just never made over the hump.
So
there's a point in time with so much success you need to make that step.
Yes, I
Jim
agree.
Harbaugh's never made that step. So why are you arguing more longevity?
He could
more
be
time,
making that step. Dabo Swinney didn't make that step in the first 6 years.
Is key. Could.
Yes, could.
Is key.
Yes, could.
I don't argue could.
Could. And Dabo Swinney in his first 6 seasons could have busted. Instead of getting a Deshaun Watson, Trevor Lawrence,
he got talent.
transcending.
Let's see if,
yes,
if Jim Harbaugh can
needs to
recruit
get
talent.
Yes,
Yes,
he needs to. Of course, we're on the same page here.
Yes,
I'm not sure.
And I don't see it.
I see it in Jim. I think he can do it. And honestly, you go look at your options. If you're Michigan, who are you going to bring in? Who are you going to bring in? You're going to go get the Ohio State guy. He just re-upped for 8 years. Show me the options. Show me a better path. Because Michigan haven't had any better in the last 14 years prior to Jim Harbaugh. So, sorry, Michigan fans. When we get back from the break, the NFL announced their top 100 players of 2021. There was only one Detroit Lion to make that list. We'll tell you who that is and why we think he should or shouldn't have made it next here on the Woodward Sports Network.
Tony is a third-generation logger that has a simple, practical approach to life and work. That's why his Coast DX342 knife is perfect for him. The stainless steel blade is rust-resistant and made for all-weather use. And the double roll-lock safety ensures that it will never inadvertently close when he doesn't want it to. That's why Coast is trusted tough.
Hi guys, welcome back to the Woodward Sports Network. So usually when you get 93 out of 100. That's an A-, right? Pretty good. But in this instance, I think it is way too low for our tight end, my love, TJ Hockenson. I mean, 93
way to be
out of the top 100.
like neutral. Way to be neutral on the subject.
Yeah, I'm really neutral on the subject. I love you, TJ. Anyway, so I think it's too low. I also said last week that I thought Frank Ragnow would be on the list, and here we are. Where is he? Not here. I even thought he would be ranked higher than TJ Hockenson, and crickets. So what do you guys think? Is it the right spot for him? Should he have been higher? Should he have been lower? Should he have been left off?
Hockenson is where he needs to be at 93. He shouldn't have been higher. He shouldn't have been higher, and I'll tell you why. He didn't have an elite year. He had a good enough year where he's respected by his peers, and he made the top 100, and now he's at 93. That's really good. We can all agree. But he only had 67 catches, 723 yards, in a league where tight ends are now putting up 1,000-yard seasons. You have Darren Waller, Travis Kelce, George Kittle. Like, those are the elite tight ends currently in the NFL. Could TJ Hockenson be elite this year? I think we all expect him to be elite. But right now, he's making his debut on the list. I think it's a great number. Put him at 93. Ideally, he blows up for over 1,000 yards, and he's probably top 70, top 60. George Kittle is at 50, so he could even push it top 50. Again, based on last year's numbers, Hockenson shouldn't be any higher. I'm glad they have him on the list. It shows the talent his peers think. It shows what his peers think of him, and for me, that's a lot. Jeff?
Yeah, for me to argue he should be higher, I mean, you're just nitpicking because it's his debut on the list. Last year, he had a good year. Not a great year as a tight end, 1,000 plus, but he had a solid year. So just to be in the top 100, I think next year he's obviously going to be higher. He's getting better every single year. But for me to say I have a problem with where he landed, it's a little delusional as a Lions fan. So I'll take it. I'm okay with it. I don't have a problem with it.
Okay. Was there a Lions player like Ragnow you feel should have been on there 100%?
That was my argument when our last show. I think.
Okay, why?
Because, number one, last year he's coming off his first Pro Bowl season, labeled as easily a top 3 center in the game. And if Kelce can clear 85, I think Ragnow's, if not just as good or right behind Jason Kelce.
He's ranked the second best based on PF.
So I don't see a reason why Frank Ragnow can't be in the 85 to 100. I don't see why.
I thought really hard about Ragnow when the list came out Sunday, and initially I was, why is Ragnow not here? This doesn't make any sense. And then I went back and I watched last season. I compared the players that have made it over in the skill position area, like a James Robinson, a Corey Davis, who's even higher than Hawk. And I went back and I said, okay, you know what? Although he had a good season and he was probably the second or third best center in the league, he's not there yet. He's probably at 101 to 106. He's on the cusp. And I didn't have a problem with that. He could, if he was going to make the list, he would have been 100, 99, 98. I mean, I think he's anywhere from 101 to 107, 108. So, again, was he not on the list? Did that rub me the wrong way? Not really. Not really. I mean, there was no other Lions player I felt that could have made it.
No.
Who else?
Nobody. It's Frank Ragnow. That was the only guy I argued.
Ragnow was the only one. You look at Jared Goff coming off of this last season. It wasn't all that. Double-digit turnovers. He was inconsistent throughout the whole season, so he's not going to be there. DeAndre Swift, again, inconsistent injury, not there the whole season, can't make the list. Jamal Williams was a backup to Aaron Jones, now a backup to DeAndre Swift, so he's not even there. You have no number one wide receiver.
Promising rookies, but they're rookies.
Promising rookies. I mean, if you want to look forward to next year's top 100, Ragnow probably on the list. Hockenson moves up. I think Okudah could make it.
Don't sleep on Penei Sewell in the next couple of years either.
In a couple of years, just for next season, I think out of the question, Penei Sewell not going to be there. But
not next year.
Jeff Okudah probably. I think 3 Lions players in the top 100 next season for sure. I think those 3. Maybe one of our D linemen surprise us. We'll see, but I didn't have a problem with it. Kennedy, Ragnow, I didn't have a problem with it. I think he's anywhere between 101 and 107. Hockenson shouldn't be any higher. Sorry, I know you have a crush on him, but it's not about crushes. His statistics were just not below tier, but like he was above average. He was an above average tight end.
Definitely not below tier.
He put up very good numbers.
Yeah.
But he wasn't elite, and he wasn't close to elite. Elite at a tight end position, double-digit touchdowns, 8, 9, 1,000 yards, 1,200 yards, 90, 80 receptions. He got 101 targets, only caught 67 of them. So that rate's got to get up higher, especially when you're a tight end. You're getting guarded by safeties and linebackers. So that's just my thoughts. I didn't have too much of a problem with it. But looking forward to this season for TJ Hockenson, what are your projections statistically for TJ Hockenson this year, Jeff?
I don't have any specific projections. Obviously, he's been working out with George Kittle and Travis Kelce, tight end university. He's a heavyweight champion if you're into that. But overall, he's working with great tight ends, man. I think he's gonna get better. He's just working his butt off, and you see the work he's being put in because you see training camp, you see the highlights. So this year, obviously, everyone's gonna be focused on TJ Hockenson on our offense, but doesn't mean the guy can't go out and at least compete. And it's going to be tough this year because the defenses are going to be focused on him. But what do you have? 700 yards last year? 600?
Yep. 723.
I could see him getting close to 1,000, if not hitting just over 1,000. I think as the years go on, he'll start to be more like those George Kittles, those 1,200, 1,300. But right now,
once the offense develops, I think we both agree.
Yeah, so easily next year, I'll say just under 1,000.
Okay, well, for me, it's got to be what he should do. It's 80 catches, 1,100, and 10 touchdowns. What he will do, 70, 900, maybe 8, 9 touchdowns. Could break double digits. We'll see. Maybe he's a hot red zone target. We'll see. Jamal Williams might take all that. DeAndre Swift, maybe. And we don't know how often the Lions are even going to score touchdowns. So, again, he's going to be the focal point of every defense when they're lining up. Like, how are we going to stop Hockenson this week? How are we going to stop Hockenson? If Tyrell Williams beats us one time over the top a game, that's fine. We're going to live with it. There's 4 quarters to play. So I think Hawk is in a difficult position. I think he'll have the 1,300 yard breakout season come year 4. I think year 4 is probably where he enters his prime and puts his name with the Tony Gonzalez, the Zach Ertz, the George Kittles, the Darren Wallers, the Antonio Gates, the Travis Kelce's, that echelon of production. I think he can produce by year 3, year 4. Kennedy, what are you going to do about your boy? What do you think for next season? What's your expectation for TJ Hockenson?
They're high. That's all he's got to know. They're real high.
Are your expectations high or are you high?
Both. No, just kidding. No, my expectations for Hawk are very high. I think that hopefully we'll see a higher Madden ranking the next time.
Is that all you care about, really?
It makes me really mad. I mean, he was so low. He should have been 4.
Well, what should his overall have been?
What is that?
Like his overall in Madden, it was 85, I believe.
Yeah.
Oh.
So what should have been? 87, 89, 90?
Well, let's see.
100?
If he was at, what was he at? Was he at 7 or 9 for tight end?
He was tied for 5th, I believe.
Yeah. What was
he was lower
all you
than
have
that.
to answer is what rating was Darren Waller?
87.
Okay, then maybe 87, 86.
Okay.
I'll put him at 86.
We'll take that. I'll go juicy 86.
I still think Madden's rankings were fine. Darren Waller outproduced him. Why would he be on the same level as Darren Waller?
One behind him, 86.
Okay, right. Man, not 87. Don't put him on the same level.
Okay, I didn't say 87.
There we go, juicy.
Sorry.
All right.
Sorry, guys.
Move on, Adam.
Anyways, Jeff, how about you tell everybody about our friends at Northwestern Tech before we go to break?
Oh, I'll tell you about Northwestern Tech. Because a lot of these Northwestern Tech guys has that TJ Hockenson fade. Long beard, long hair. Start a new career in an industry that is always essential, the heating and cooling industry. Learn more today by visiting northwesterntech.edu.
Hi, I'm David Hall from Hall Financial. And at Hall Financial, we treat our clients like family. And our #1 priority is giving each of our clients 5-star service. Our passion for 5-star service, combined with our expertise, allows us to find the best possible solution for refinancing your home loan. We take the time to focus on both the individual and the numbers. We're going to walk you through the process and close your loan in half the time of our competition. Go to davidhallmortgage.com today.
So we saw this preseason game. We've already discussed it, and I'm wondering if you guys are ready to change your outlook on the season. I think Art and I can agree this is your last chance to board the 10-7 train. So get aboard or get out. So after this weekend, are you guys going with over or under 5 wins for the Lions?
Jeff, you can start.
I want to disagree, Adam, with you, but because this was hard. Because I have the Lions at 5.
You don't even know what I'm going to say.
No, I already know what you're going to say. Shut up. All right, listen, I have the Lions at 5 wins. That was like my prediction. So to go over and under, I'm going to go under. Because quite frankly, I thought hard and long about this, and there's so many new faces, from players to coaching staff changes. It's going to be hard for me to convince myself to the Lions are going to clear 6 or 7 wins in the debut season of this new regime and new quarterback and Adam would not only have a heart attack, but it would be extremely impressive for Dan Campbell to come out and get 6-7 wins in his debut season. I mean, if you look at the numbers, around the 6th hardest schedule in the entire NFL. As their 17 opponents went a combined 143 and 127. So it's a hard schedule. I mean, tons of guys who are unproven. I mean, obviously these guys are out to prove us wrong, but if I'm going to sit here and put my money on a bunch of guys that are still trying to prove themselves in this league, I'd be an idiot. So
let me throw you a bone. What? Before I give you my answer. In a common sense world, the Lions won 5 games last year, obviously with the midseason firing of Matt Patricia. Then their OC took over, won them 2 games. They won 5 games. So is it too far from the stretch that far from the imagination that the Lions can win 6-7 games just based off of the culture shift, although they have downgraded at the quarterback position? Do you believe that over is too much? Are you not willing? So you said it would be impressive if Dan Campbell won 6 games, right?
I mean,
I don't think it would be. I don't think it would be impressive. I think 5 to 6 wins is probably the floor.
It's
right?
not 6. I shouldn't say 6 wins, but if you're starting to clear 6, 7, 8 wins, that's impressive
if
to me.
anything over 7 wins is impressive.
I shouldn't just say 6 is impressive.
I would admit anything over 7 would be very impressive for this team. It's year 1 for Dan Campbell. Again, this isn't about being negative about the Lions. I am so excited for this team's future. I haven't been more excited about a rebuild for the Detroit Lions in my lifetime.
I couldn't tell.
I'm actually behind what they're doing. You know why? Because they gave the guy a 6-year deal. Although I think it was too much, I see why they did it, and I actually agree with it. You know what? You give him a 6-year deal. Dan, we know it's not going to be a good first 2 seasons, but we're going to back you. And we're going to put as much talent around you as possible. Now we have 4 first-round picks in the next 2 seasons, so you're going to get the top 32, 36 players. You're going to get 2 of them over the next 2 seasons. The roster's going to get better. Hopefully Jeff Okudah blossoms. You have Aquara. He's going to blossom. You have some D ends, some D tackles. You have Ali McNeil. Like, there are pieces that you can build over the next 2-3 years that I can say confidently in 3 seasons, this team should be competing for the NFC North. Having said that, again, guys, who put out the lines? Vegas. Who am I going to listen to? I'm going to listen to you, or am I going to listen to Vegas, who run their company and their operation on getting these things right? Yes, the over has been the most favored bet in Vegas for the Detroit Lions, but that's just because people are like, oh, well, they won 5 last year, so with Dan Campbell and a better culture, they should win 6. It doesn't work like that. They have the 4th hardest schedule based on win totals from last year. They have the 6th hardest schedule overall.
Yep.
Guys, they're away to Green Bay, obviously. They're a divisional opponent, but they're away to Los Angeles, away to Pittsburgh, away to Cleveland, away to Denver, Mile High, not fun to play in, away to Atlanta, away to Seattle. Guys, you maybe get 1 win of those 8 road games. You maybe get 1. Not 8, I believe 6 or 7, but you maybe get 1. Come on.
You'd have to really bank on the Lions to get some of these wins early in the season, and the schedule's too tough.
And that's why the schedule is so difficult.
Yes.
They have such an interesting schedule. They open up very difficult. Home to San Francisco, away on Monday night at Green Bay, at Lambeau Field. And then they play the Baltimore Ravens home, which means Lamar Jackson's going to run all over you in a dome situation. He doesn't have to worry about weather. He doesn't have to worry about anything. And then it kind of like steadies off. It gets kind of, you get divisional, you get Chicago, you get Minnesota, you get Philly, and then boom, coming off the bye week, I think they can beat Pittsburgh. I really do. But then you got Pittsburgh away, Cleveland away, then you have Thanksgiving, and I think they'll win that game as well. But God, it's really hard to pick out 6 games. It's really hard. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I think this team in 3 years are a 10, 11, 12 win team. Based on the trajectory, I'm really excited about this team's future. But right now, no, I'm sorry. I'm not going to root for the team to win 10 games because I know in my heart, and the team is telling you that they can't win 10 games. They never came out and said, we're looking to compete right away. No. Listen to Dan Campbell's press conference post-game versus the Buffalo Bills. We wanted to be in a position to win. That's what the Lions are going to do all season. They want to be in a position. Come 4th quarter, they just want to be close. And if they lose, all right, you know what? That's a better team than us. But they don't want to get blown out like they did to Buffalo. They don't want to get a donut like they did against Carolina last year. They want to come out and play good football and show the fans and show the team that, hey, come next season, come the year prior, we're going to be a team. We're going to be a good team. And I think now more than ever, the Detroit Lions organization is on the highest upward trend that they have been in maybe the last 25 years.
If you're going to look me in the face and say the Lions could possibly go 7-10 or 8-9 or whatever the case may be, you're banking on not only Jared Goff to immediately have success in the system, but for these rookies to have impact year one. Penny Sewell, Lee McNeil, Levi, Iffy, Amon-Ra St. Brown, which I think has a chance to have success. But if you're going to – it's just hard. I mean, I went through the schedule last night, and I couldn't find 6 or 7 wins. I couldn't. So it has to be a lot of just faith and belief. If you're actually analyzing the toughness of the schedule, what this team is capable of, it's hard. I mean, I had them at 5 wins, so if you're giving me an over-under on 5, I'll go under. So that's just simple as it.
The bet's got to be under if you're taking the bet. I think 5 wins is probably what they finish at, maybe. But more likely than not, they'll finish under before they go over. Again, football is so difficult. It's hard enough to win 1 football game, let alone 6, 7, 8 when you've downgraded at your skill position and the most important position in football, which is the quarterback. Mm-hmm. So, again, the Detroit Lions on a great... They're on the path to a very solid future. If they can win 3, 4 games, 2 games, I'd be happy. Good. Lock me in. Get me the quarterback I want. Go get your quarterback. Start building your future now. Jared Goff is not your future. So let's just go address that. Go win 4 games year one, Dan. I know you and Brad are going to be happy about it. Are you going to be happy that you lost 13 games? No shit. No one's rooting for the team to lose every single game outside of me. But that's for storyline purposes. Beyond the point. Like, you want the team to go out and compete. That's all you're asking for. Look what Pistons fans did this year. Hey, we know we're not going to be good, but let's just put ourselves in a position to potentially get a number 1, number 2 overall pick.
Mm-hmm. But beat good teams while doing it. You know what I mean?
Beat good teams, but like show out every night.
Yes.
Did they give up the leads in the 4th all the time? Yeah, it's a young team. They got rid of Blake. They got rid of D Rose. You saw Sadiq Bey blossom. You saw Isaiah Stewart blossom. You saw Killian Hayes when he came back blossom. Like, that's what you want to see with this Lions team. You want to see the team just go out. They're going to lose. It's a consequence of how bad they are. I'm sorry. It's the truth. They're bad. They're going to lose a lot of games. And in 2 years from now, every single Detroit Lions fan is going to be so happy that Uncle Adam sat up here and said they're going to lose 12, 13 games this year. And when they do, you're going to be so happy because you get a quarterback, then you get a D lineman, probably an edge rusher, or you go out and get a wide receiver. Like, gosh, this team can be so good based on their current trajectory if they just stick to the plan and not listen to any of the fans. Honestly, that's my opinion.
Rightfully so.
So, Kennedy, before I cut off, I did want to ask you, how many wins do you think the Detroit Lions have? Do not tell me 10 wins like Art will. Don't you dare. And don't listen to him. How many wins? Over, under, be honest.
Oh, I have them over 5 or at 5. I think 5 or 6. Final answer, 5 or 6.
All right, good. I like the bop. Where's that from? What is the famous genie or... I don't know. You guys not know this?
No.
Do you know?
Totally.
Anybody know? Yeah. All right. So I'm not crazy. Thank you. God, you guys are horrible. Anyways.
Wait, what's it from?
I don't know. I know that thing is a thing.
It's from Aladdin.
Oh, it's from Aladdin. Excuse me. I know it's not from Aladdin.
No. The genie's from Aladdin.
The genie's from Aladdin. I don't know. Whatever. We're wasting too much time on this, guys. When we come back from the break, we are going to talk about our expectations for the Michigan football program this upcoming season. What will their final record be? We'll break down each game. We'll see what their overall record could be. Is this the year they beat Ohio State, or do they fluster at the end of the season and Jim Harbaugh is let go? We'll talk about that right after the break.
Welcome to the Call Sam Chopper Shop, where you can win a custom-built chopper while helping our veterans at the same time.
Watch as the Bad Pig Custom Team turns this bike into a one-of-a-kind classic chopper.
And when it's finished, we'll be donating the bike to Volunteers of America Michigan to raffle off in support of our vets.
A great cause to give back to those who've given so much.
Watch for Call Sam Chopper Shop episodes on our social media channels and get your raffle ticket today at callsam.com/chopper shop.
So, thank you for that, Art. Art has now let me know that I am off the train for my answer. I'm a little hurt this morning now, but hurt people. But along with hurting people, we also talk a lot about expectations around here, but we've been really focused on our expectations for this NFL season. So now we're going to switch it over to college football. You guys, what are your expectations for this Michigan football team and Jim Harbaugh?
Jeff?
So my expectations, we'll just start with win total because we'll work down from there.
Okay.
And in terms of wins, obviously last year it's a weird year, 2-4. Obviously COVID having a big effect. I think they can get back to 9 or 10 wins, strictly because Jim Harbaugh always finds a way to make that happen with this program. There's a lot of returning upperclassmen. I mean, Cade, I can't say his name, McNamara. Yeah.
Yep.
Sorry about that. But he's going to be the starting quarterback this year, and he played last year. A couple games or whatever, but if I had to sit here, I'll start with wins. I think they can clear 10 wins, and they have to get a bowl game win, I think this year, just go back and win a bowl game and get the fans at least back on your wagon. So that's my prediction.
That's going to be key. I think they're somewhere between 7 and 9 wins.
Okay.
7 and 9. 7 being worst case scenario, 9 meaning best case scenario, and the 10th coming in a bowl game. I think they can. I think they finish 9 and 3, best case scenario. But again, they have such low expectations this year. This is the first time in 6 years that Michigan has walked into the season and everybody's just washing them away, just absolutely giving up on the program. So it is likely this could be the year they upset Ohio State and ruin their chances of getting into the college football playoff. But Jim Harbaugh opens up against some weak teams to open up. Then they go away to Wisconsin, away to Nebraska. If they will clear in 5-0 heading into their conference games, watch out. Actually watch out. If they get momentum right, they could beat Michigan State for sure. They got to avenge that game. If Jim Harbaugh loses to Michigan State, I would consider that more of a failure than losing to Ohio State. Jim Harbaugh has to beat Michigan this year. If Jim Harbaugh doesn't beat Michigan State this year, he should be fired. It's that simple. You can't lose. You can't start off 0-2 against Mel Tucker while he's in the middle of an early rebuild. He hasn't even gotten his classmen yet. It's his first recruiting class. They're all freshmen. I'm sorry. If he loses to Michigan State, he's done, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Expectations on the year, like I said, 9 wins. I think they can get 10. That's just Jim Harbaugh's motto. Now, can they win 11, 12, and compete for the Big Ten title? I don't know. If there was ever a year for them not to compete, it would be this year. But then you use reverse logic. Every year that we thought they were going to compete for the Big Ten, and then they never did. And the one year, of course, that we don't think they're going to compete, they walk into Columbus with 10, 11 wins. I mean, that is the storyline this year. Can he beat Michigan State? Can he beat Ohio State? And if he beats those two teams, this team could be playing for a Big Ten title and a spot in the college football playoff. Who would have thought? Now, a lot has to happen. They have to beat a lot of good teams in Indiana, a Michigan State. You really got to get through this early part of the schedule. You walk in to Ohio State with 9, 10 wins. That's good, Jim. That is good.
Yeah.
And then you can recruit again, and people will respect the program again. That's going to be Jim's biggest hurdle this year. Can he win 9, 10 games? Because if he does, I think he's back on track. If he doesn't, it's going to be hard to sit here and say Jim Harbaugh should stay at Michigan.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with what you said in terms of this is the year they have especially Jim, not a lot of pressure. He has a lot of pressure in the previous years to get things done. This year, re-upping that contract, signing at a discounted price. He's coming into this year just trying to get the respect of not only the fans but the alumni back. And I don't think we're crazy to say 9 to 10 wins, especially that's just Jim Harbaugh's MO. So more than that, that's a different discussion, possibly a board game win. But yeah, just to recap, I mean, he's coming out. He's going to try and make some noise this year for sure. That's his goal.
Okay, well, look, if you were to highlight the key moment for Michigan this year, what does it need to be? What does Jim Harbaugh have to do? I've already answered this. I said he needs to beat Michigan State to keep his job and win 8, 9 games. If he wins 9 games, he's keeping his job, especially if he beats Michigan State. But if he wins 8 games and he loses to Michigan State and Ohio State, I think he's done. That's it. Unfortunately, yeah, you re-upped him, but no, he's got to go.
I was just going to say it's taking down the rivals is key because obviously coming off last year, losing to Michigan State, who was in pretty much Mel Tucker's first year as head coach, it was not a good look. So this year, taking down MSU, I don't know if they'll beat Ohio State. Obviously, that's the goal. Justin Fields is gone. So I think just taking down the rivals, and if they can get 10 wins, he'll be back. 9, 10 wins. I wouldn't be surprised if that's the outcome.
All right, well, we have a very special person joining the show shortly. Our Detroit Lions beat writer Corey Woods to discuss some interesting news that happened over the weekend. But before we get to him, we do have to discuss one more thing regarding the Michigan program. How close are Michigan to competing for a Big Ten title under Jim Harbaugh? Or is Mel Tucker even closer in East Lansing?
This is a hard question, and we'll get Corey's input on this because I want to hear Corey's input on this too. But for Jim Harbaugh, to say right now he's competing for a Big Ten title, it's tough, and especially Mel Tucker. I mean, he's proven, but I don't know. I don't think I'm the right person to ask this. I want to ask Corey because he covers Michigan, and he used to, and he's very knowledgeable about Jim Harbaugh. And so, Corey, let's just get your opinion between the two, Mel Tucker, Jim Harbaugh. What are the expectations for both these two? You think?
Well, I mean, they're kind of in the same boat right now. If we're talking about as far as competing for a national title, well, not national title. I'm sorry, Big Ten title. Jumping the gun. Big Ten title. I would say that Jim Harbaugh is closer by default. He does I still believe that Michigan has the better program. They have the better roster, and I believe that Mel Tucker is building. He's going to be able to close that gap sooner enough if they have a successful year this year. Eventually, he'll close that gap, but. Right now, I mean, just off default, I would go with Jim Harbaugh. And I think they're going to be a better team this year. First off, they did the one thing that I've been screaming for them to do for 3 seasons. They got Don Brown the F out of Ann Arbor. I've been...
Since the Ohio State.
You've seen it.
We're on the same page on that, Corey. He should have been gone 3 years ago.
Yeah, should
have been gone 3 years ago.
So they've got that covered. Now, here's going to be the real trick. Is if the quarterback whisperer Jim Harbaugh is going to finally, if Cade is the guy. It was insane last year that they tried to Joe Milton out there and they didn't see it. Now, everybody thought that Joe Milton was going to be the guy. Jim Harbaugh talked about him at nauseating lengths. And the thing is, Joe Milton has the look.
Yeah.
He has that athletic build. He could throw the ball pretty far, but that was really just about it. Armstrong. That was it. He didn't have everything else that he had up in there didn't work. And the fact that they had Cade came in immediately. I'm not going to say he lit it up, but he played
well,
noticeably better.
Yeah.
The fact that they didn't see that before the season started,
that's
scary to me. That's scary. So hopefully, Cade is the guy right now. Cade Beckenbauer is going to go into the season the guy. And if Jim Harbaugh figures out this quarterback thing, then they should be I'm going to say an 8-9 win team, possibly 10. I think expecting anything outside of that is a little crazy. I think the past couple of years, 2-3 years ago, they should have been a 9-10 win, 11 win team competing for a Big Ten national title because they had that receiving trio of Tariq Black, Ronnie Bell, and DPJ, and they blew it. They blew it. They blew one of the potential.
And the defense was legit the first few years under Don Brown. They just they blew it.
They blew it.
I mean, there's no other way to say it. And Corey, I brought this up earlier, and I'm curious for what you think. I compared Dabo Swinney's first 6 seasons as head coach of Clemson to Jim Harbaugh's. Dabo Swinney, I believe, 51-23. Jim Harbaugh, 49-22. Similar in the bowl win appearances, everything across the board. Clemson had multiple, I think, 4 straight 10-win seasons. Yeah. Jim had 3 10s and 1 9 and 1 8. Long story. The whole point I made was it took Dabo Swinney 6 years to establish himself at Clemson. But you know what? Why did Dabo blow up after? Where Dabo Swinney came from? Nobody expected it. You know why? Deshaun Watson, and then Trevor Lawrence. Jim Harbaugh needs the defense to play a little better, but more importantly, he needs to get the quarterback. If he doesn't get the quarterback, he's never going to win anything. So for me, I think it's still early to jump the gun on Jim because you're looking at programs, even Alabama under Nick Saban, even Les Miles at LSU. It took years. And you look at the strength of schedule. Clemson's was 3.08 in the first 6 seasons under Dabo. Harbaugh, he's at 5.49. I mean, you're talking playing in Ohio State every year. You're playing an out-of-conference team, the first game of the year that's probably really tough, a SEC team, a Pac-12, a Big 12 team. So where does Jim fall for you? Is he he's getting fired after this season, or are you like, you know what? No, this guy can still get it done. We're jumping the gun. Like, he got rid of his DC. He's making correct decisions. I like what he's doing on the offensive side of the ball. They're trying to play more of a spread offense. Where are you with Jim Harbaugh?
Okay. Here's where I am with Jim Harbaugh. if you fire Jim Harbaugh, you better nail the next head coach pick. That's where I'm at with it. If you want, here's my thing. Michigan fans sometimes can get a little bit delusional. Is Michigan a good program? Yes, it's a good program. Is it a great program? No, it's not. It's the all-time winningest college football program. Yes, but I mean, we're talking about like
from the 1900s to the 1950s,
with leather helmets and stuff like that. Come on, let's not kid ourselves. Look, Jim Harbaugh got Michigan back to where they've always been. Just go look at the numbers. Michigan has always been a 9-10 win team that will compete occasionally for a share
and
of the
blow
Big
it
Ten
against
title.
Ohio State.
Yeah, I mean, Michigan. Look, take Jim Harbaugh out of it. Well, Adam in there, but anyway, Adam in there. Here's the thing. In the past 20 years, they've only beat Ohio State 3 times.
Thank you.
They're just supremely better program.
In the last 7 years, the 7 years prior to Jim Harbaugh, they were pulled in the AP rankings and the BCS 1 time in the top 7. Under Harbaugh, 4 times. Yeah. Twice under Harbaugh, they showed up to Ohio State, ranked number 2 and number 3 in the nation, with a win going to the Big Ten title game in the college football playoff. Name me any coach, even Lloyd Carr, that got any close outside of 1 time under Lloyd Carr.
Yeah,
and they blew it against Ohio State as well.
I think the only time that, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, I think the only time Lloyd Carr really got that close outside of,
97.
Outside of 97 was probably, 2006?
2001, 2003, something around that. Even 06,
yeah. Definitely 06 because they lost that game to Ohio State, and people were talking about
they won in Columbus, I believe, in 03 with Braylon Edwards, actually. And that was a big deal, but they had lost a few games early on the season. It cost them. But yes, in 06 was probably like the closest they ever got to where Jim Harbaugh has already gotten them twice. Like, it blows my mind. Yes, if you get rid of him, you better bring in the next guy who nails it, but Jim's crushing it. I'm sorry. Like, the 2-4 season, but he has delivered on everything he promised outside of beating Ohio State.
And I think the 2-4 season is an aberration. I think
COVID.
COVID. I think
Milton quit on the team halfway into the season. I mean, come on.
It's an aberration. I believe this year they're going to be, I'm saying 8. I'm saying 8 wins. I think if they go 9, I'm thinking 8 wins. They'll be 8 wins. 9 wins will probably be the bowl game win because I think they're going to win a bowl game this year. Whatever. I don't know.
They have to. I mean, he's 1-5 in bowl games or 1-4.
He won the first one, and then after that they've.
I think lost the first, then won one, and then lost.
Right. Yeah.
So again, he similar track. I brought up the Dabo Swinney not because I want to defend Harbaugh, but look, even Saban. It takes time. It does take time. Saban was getting his ass kicked by Georgia, by LSU at the time. And then he finally built the program and put a team together, got the quarterback right. Boom, national champions.
I'm just going to say this. There's nothing wrong with wanting the program to be better. Just know that if you push Jim Harbaugh out, you're in for some dark days. I believe they felt, I could be wrong in this, my timeline events, but I felt they pushed Lloyd Carr out a little bit prematurely. Look what happened when they pushed out Lloyd Carr. It got a little dark.
I mean, look what Bob Stoops did. All right, he handed over the baton. Oklahoma haven't missed a beat. And what's Oklahoma been? You want to talk about a frustrated fan base? Go look at Oklahoma. Oklahoma fans are always this close to a national title game, and they always blow it. They always blow it. They're just as frustrated as Michigan fans, except their thing is they're winning 10, 11 games because they play in the Big 12, soon to be the SEC. But, it blows my mind. Like, you couldn't, if you find better than Jim Harbaugh, show me and I'll support it. But right now, who are you going to go for? The Iowa State guy? Like, you have a Michigan guy who gets the brand. All right, he just got rid of the D coordinator. I think this team is going to have a good season. Don Brown has been a mess. Jim Harbaugh was loyal to a fault with Don Brown, and it cost him a few seasons. And here we are. But
I think if we got to ask, you got to expect Jim Harbaugh to compete for a Big Ten title. He has to win one in the next 3 seasons. To me,
how poetic, or it couldn't have been a better situation than he comes into this year with the lowest expectations he's ever had at Michigan, and they show up. They have 0 expectations this year. Nobody in the national media is giving them respect, and that might be a good thing for them. If they can get past Nebraska and Wisconsin, they'll be 5-0 heading into late October, early November, And then their conference play starts, and anything can happen from there. If he's got to beat Michigan State, though.
Oh, he has to beat Michigan State.
You lose to Michigan State, in my opinion, he's got to go. Even though I think
you can't let Mel Tucker come in with a dog crap team and get you down 0-2.
2 years,
yeah.
No, can't let that happen.
Well, Corey, thanks so much for your input on Michigan and Jim Harbaugh. When we get back from the break, we're going to chat about what Corey broke over the weekend regarding Dan Campbell and the head athletic trainer at the Detroit Lions. You're tuning into the Morning Woodward Show here on the Woodward Sports Network.
I'm looking to bring on another HVAC tech right now.
We are recruiting 5 to 10 techs a month.
We're looking to grow and expand. Every new tech we hire is from Northwestern Tech.
The hands-on training is fantastic.
They're always my first call.
We love hiring Northwestern Tech grads.
They come out trained and ready to work.
Our program is only 10.5 months, and our next classes are starting soon. So why wait?
I'm looking to hire
a graduate
of Northwestern Tech.
Northwestern Tech.
Northwestern Tech.
Welcome back to the Morning Woodward Show here on the Woodward Sports Network. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. Guys, on Friday, Corey Woods broke some news that Dan Campbell had relieved the head athletic trainer of the Detroit Lions of his duties. Kind of I don't want to say a surprising move, but it was surprising given it was right before a preseason game, and they kept it hush-hush. Corey, of course, did his research and found out the information, broke the story. Corey, before we get too in depth with this, I wanted you to tell the audience the story of like what led up to this point, and once we go from there, kind of give me your thoughts on it and how you feel that this move either benefits or doesn't benefit the Detroit Lions.
Well, first off, shout out to the sources. You're only as good as your source. I got a good source. They put me up on game, and then I okay, let me double check this. So I cross-referenced with somebody else. They said, yeah, this is true, and I went ahead and put it out there. And Woodward Sports was the first to go ahead and break that news, just so we're clear. And apparently, what led to the rift was him and Dave Granito. I hope I'm saying his name right.
I believe Granito. Yep.
Yeah, Dave Granito and Campbell apparently had a rift. They had a little falling out, and that was just really it. It led to the dismissal. And Dan Campbell pretty much confirmed that there was a communication issue. He didn't say that it wasn't anything about the way the performance or the treatment of the players. It was that they had a difference in philosophy, and it led to his dismissal. Now I was trying to do two thoughts at once. Now here's my thoughts on it. I will say the timing of it is very interesting. They play a preseason game that night, and the athletic trainer is dismissed the same day. That's some hell of a timing.
Yeah.
But the guy, Granito, he's had 15 years with the Patriots. Then after that, spent 3 years at U of M, head athletic trainer, and then last 2 seasons with the Lions. I think the move was a weird timing, but at the same time, I'm a fan of the timing as well because. Hey, the Lions do not need any bad juju going into the season, and if there's a conflict between the coach and the athletic trainer, nip that in the bud before the actual season starts.
I couldn't agree more. I mean, my first impression of it was yes, good job. This was my favorite move of the offseason, more than trading Stafford. More than drafting Penei Sewell, more than drafting Amon-Ra St. Brown, I don't care. Like, Dan Campbell being given the support from the organization to make that move means everything to me. I could care less what we think of his coaching credentials or what we think of the roster currently. The fact that you have a leader in place that can make that tough of a decision on the spot and get support from the organization, for me, it tells me everything I need to know about the Lions. It's the most competent organization we've had or seen ever, I think.
You need everybody on one accord with this rebuild.
And to be honest,
when if one guy is not on with the game plan and everybody else is, all right, gotta go.
Goodbye. I encourage everybody to Google Dave Granito after the show. And he looks like your typical New England Patriot.
He does. He's a Patriot way guy.
And he looks like a douchebag. He just does. Somebody has to say it. I'm going to say it. He looks like a douchebag. Google it. I swear you'll die laughing just like Corey because he knows I'm right. Corey knows I'm right. He does look. He looks like a bald, horrible aftershave Loser.
All right. I want to ask.
I love the move. Good job, Dan.
I want to ask Corey something.
Flex your muscle.
So we mentioned miscommunication. Obviously, Dan mentioned that, and there might be disagreements and stuff between the head coach and Mr. Granito. But I have a question. The Lions had several players miss during training camp with prominent soft tissue injuries. Like DeAndre Swift obviously being out now currently. I think Tyrell was out for something. Does that have anything to do with maybe the disagreements? Like guys missing because of these soft tissue injuries?
He said that it wasn't player treatment and they're rehabbing. So I'm gonna take him at his word.
Yeah.
But at the same time, where there's smoke, there's fire. There's a lot of key guys down. DeAndre Swift, Jamar Jefferson. You just mentioned Tyrell Williams has some nagging injuries. Who else? It was a litany of guys that just had little knickknacks here and there. So who knows? It may be something with the way they're rehabbing and their treatment, and they have a difference in philosophy of how to bring them back. It could be something to that because there was a lot of guys that fans wanted to see on Friday that were not there.
I think when you're in Dan Campbell's shoes, you have a guy on your staff. Remember, Dan Campbell is responsible for everything that happens with the football team right now. So if one person is out of line or is causing a stir, you got to can them.
Yeah.
For the sake of the team.
They're trying to build a culture.
You're trying to build a culture there. And if there's a guy walking around publicly, now there's a difference between going behind the scenes with Dan and saying, hey, I don't agree with you. Listen, you can say 1, 2, 3 about my performance, but hey, this is what's happening 1, 2, 3, or maybe whatever they're disagreeing about. But to do it publicly in front of the teams, and in front of the player, he was asking for it. He's a Patricia guy. He stood up in his wedding. Typical guy.
This is not new to the Lions. They dismissed. I think it was last year. They dismissed Braden Coombs right after. He was openly hurt
the special teams guy.
And he was openly hurt
again,
about
another
Patricia
guy that just looks weird. Sorry, I don't want to make fun of people, but go Google him too. Go Google the special teams coordinator from under Matt Patricia. The guy looks like he lives under a rock. He can't clean up his face, deformed face. I'm sorry, can't help it. Good job, Dan. Keep cutting these people. I'm sorry. I think it was a great move.
Yeah.
It really gave me everything I needed to know about Dan Campbell and this organization. Sheila's backing the coach. She's backing the GM. Dan Campbell could walk in tomorrow and say, we need to trade Jared Goff before the trade deadline. This is too much. We can't deal with this. We should just go draft our quarterback. And you know what? I'm sure they would support it. And I love that. And I'm all for it. Just support the leadership. You got to support the leadership if you want to be a successful organization. It's just that simple.
You can't have too many chefs in the kitchen. There's got to be one main chef, and everybody else has to fall in line. And right now, it seems like the Lions are in that position where, hey, we're all on one accord. And if one guy is not following the game plan,
I love that.
Corey, we discussed earlier T.J. Hockenson obviously making the top 100. I thought it was fair. I think he shouldn't have been any higher or lower. It's his debut on the list. Ragnow, though, did not make the list. I wanted your thoughts. One, did you think Ragnow should have made the list? And two, was T.J. Hockenson too low in your opinion?
I won't say T.J. Hockenson is too low. I'm just feel that he deserved to be on the list. Wherever you want to rank him, fine by me. But I just felt that he deserved to be on the list. He is one of the some people say top 6. I think, he has the potential to be top 4, top 5, tight ends in the league. So he definitely belongs on the list. But Frank Ragnow, Pro Bowl center, I think that it was an interesting scratch. Just off the fact that he's a Pro Bowl center, I thought that was an interesting scratch. But, I mean,
who cares, right?
I hate to undermine centers because they're definitely important, but it's just like,
that's not what we're going to sit here and argue about. Yeah. The last thing I have for you, Corey, is...
Then I want to ask something after you.
Heading into today, so Jeff will give the last question, but heading into today, obviously camp at 12, practice. What has been the expectation in the organization as a staff, as like a head coaching staff, offensive coordinator? What are their expectations for the offense? I know there's the reports going out there that they think they're better than maybe the media projects, but again, like the 31st ranked wide receiving core, what can the Lions fans realistically expect from this offense going forward with Jared Goff?
Well, two things are operating here. So I'm gonna go off of the first part where you said what are the organization expecting. you've already said it. They expect that they're not going to be this, even though they are rebuilding. They don't look at themselves as this team that's about to go out there and just lay it down. They feel that they're good enough to go out there and compete and go win. Taking an Adam word, having said that, this team, to me, in my opinion, just from what I'm seeing out there at practice, I believe this is going to be a run-heavy team. This team is going to be reliant behind DeAndre Swift and Jamal Williams. Not saying that Jared Goff is not a good quarterback, it's just that from the things that I've seen, they're going to rely heavy on the run. I have not really liked a lot of his deep passes, but I wrote a couple of days before they even played their preseason game. I feel that his rapport with Amon-Ra St. Brown and Khalif Raymond was something that was going to show up during the preseason game, which it did. So I think if he's able to continue to develop a chemistry with those targets, and don't get it twisted, Tyrell Williams, he's good. He's gonna be good. Brashad Perriman, the verdict is still out on him, but I believe that if they're going, like the short passes and check downs, Goff is gonna be fine. But this team is gonna go as far as their running game goes. This is my opinion. I don't think that it's gonna be the 1,000-yard rusher between
Don't ask Maz that. He thinks the Lions are capable of having two 1,000-yard rushers. Another reason I should punch Maz in the face.
I don't think they have a 1,000-yard rusher on this team, but I believe they will have a good rushing attack. DeAndre Swift looks good. We know Jamal Williams look good, but another guy that I liked, and I hope that he's able to recover well, is Jamar Jefferson. I liked him just running. I like the way he was running in practice and catching passes.
Yes.
I didn't really see that much of him, just looking at some highlights in the colleges catching passes, but I could see him kind of being molded into maybe a Theo Riddick type role just for right now.
Yeah.
But they have a good running back committee, and that's where I think this.
Go ahead, Jeff.
I want to stay on the run game because we talk about obviously Jamal and DeAndre, 1 and 2, and Jamar possibly being that RB3. But watching the preseason game, Craig Reynolds, the man that introduced himself in the huddle.
In the huddle.
Yes, and goes out there and scores a touchdown. I want to ask you, Corey, when did that deal happen? What are the Lions seeing him, and how that came about?
Well, the deal came about. They released Quentin Dunbar, cornerback. He had some personal issues that was lingering for like over a week and a half, and they just ultimately up and released him, which was pretty shocking. I thought that he was going to be one of those guys that was going to kind of be like the number 3 or for a cornerback, but neither here nor there. Craig Reynolds, I had to do some research on him. I don't know who the guy was. Really wasn't any real tape on him. I think he had like a total of 4 yards before. I don't know the preseason stats don't count, but
undrafted too.
Yeah, but undrafted guy. He played a couple of years. I believe he played with the. I want to say the Chiefs. I could be wrong.
Yeah, I think so. You're right.
Yeah, the guy. They don't even think he was signed 24 hours really, and he just went out there and got a touchdown. Still too early to see what they truly think of him, but it's NFL is the next, like any sport, it's the next man up, and right now
he's probably fighting for a special team.
He's fighting for a spot on the team. I'll definitely try to get more out of Dan or whoever is available today to see what their thoughts are. But
cool.
The guy came literally off the street and got a jersey and scored a TD. Haven't really had much to see from him and observe yet, so. Now that he's a part of the team and practice today, I'll be able to go out there and go give you a more accurate answer over the next couple of days.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Corey, for joining us today. We really appreciate it.
Love when
Again,
Corey
that
comes.
was Corey Woods, the Detroit Lions beat writer for the Woodward Sports Network. Thank you so much again. When we come back from the break, we got Fish's facts. Who can forget? Fish, we're so excited to hear your facts for today, and we'll do that right after the break.
Tony is a third-generation logger that has a simple, practical approach to life and work. That's why his Coast DX342 knife is perfect for him. The stainless steel blade is rust-resistant and made for all-weather use. And the double roll-lock safety ensures that it will never inadvertently close when he doesn't want it to. That's why Coast is trusted tough.
Is it time?
Yeah, it is.
Fish!
Go fish.
Fish facts.
It's fish!
Oh boy. Today is Monday. Did you guys have a good weekend?
Oh, we had a good weekend, Fish.
It was a good weekend, Fish.
How was yours?
My weekend was very good. Hey, Art. Thank you, sir. We have a video for you this weekend. Last week we showed you an intercept from the New Zealand-Australia game that happened. And while you think, common sense, you'd learn from it. Well, they did not learn from it. In fact, they had 2 of those over the weekend on Saturday, and they got pretty smashed up, 57-22. Not looking good. They were in it in the first half, and then they kind of blew up in the second half.
That stadium's packed, man. Jesus, I still, it's hard to process how these European sports, how popular they are. Like rugby, a bunch of guys running around with no pads on, and they love it.
They do love it, and they should. They have won 22 in a row at that stadium, and 19 years in a row we keep the cup, so suck it, Australia. Anyways, we go to the facts. We have baseball for you. Fernando Tatis Jr. Adam, you talked about him. You like this guy. Well, he has 33 home runs in 88 games played this season. That's the most home run by any player aged 22 or younger. And his first 88 games of the season, Joe DiMaggio, 1937, had 32 for the entire season.
I would have loved to see him in the Derby, too. I think he was injured during that time.
Yeah, he was injured. Tatis Jr. has been such a good player for the San Diego Padres. I did fish a fun fact of my own. I did bet on Tatis Jr. to hit a home run. I put $50 on it over the weekend on my bookie. Paid out $300. It's a nice bet.
It's a low-key Adam bet.
I don't want to gloat, but, I just got to throw that in there. Thank you, Fish.
This sounds like a nice bet. Someone else who had a good day, Vladimir Guerrero Jr. He had 115.6 mile per hour single, 115.5 mile per hour single, and a 114.3 mile per hour ground out. Third time a player has had 3 batted balls at 114 miles per hour in a game tracked by StatCast since 2015. Those are the other names that have had 3 batted balls higher than 114 miles per hour. It's pretty impressive to hit at 114 miles per hour. Especially
so what you're saying is he's very strong, Fish.
He's hitting bombs, Fish.
Yes. It doesn't even matter that he's strong. It just matters that he can hit the ball hard. I mean, you can be like me, 7 pounds, and drill the ball. You just got to get good contact.
All right, what's next, Fish?
All right, we go to Tyler Gilbert. Do you see that he got a no-hitter over the weekend?
I did. That was amazing. It was a great
Popped
story.
on social media. Checked it out.
4th pitcher in MLB history to throw a no-hitter in his first career start. He joins names from Maz's era. Ted Burns or Breerstein, 1891, 1892, and 1953. By the way, the bottom name is Bobo Holoman.
I don't think people understand how
names.
significant that is. That hasn't happened in over 70 years for a reason.
To step in and throw a no-hitter.
2 of them happened in 1891, 1892. I mean, it doesn't happen. Nobody walks out when their first career start. We've seen Strasburg come out and dazzle, but to throw a no-hitter, my goodness, that is...
Stars have to align.
Yeah,
everything has to align
that is
for you.
so special. His father was there to watch him. 27 years old, finally getting a big league start. It was, amazing. It's a great story.
It is a great story. You know what else is a great story, Adam? By the way, today is the 16th of August. Cristiano Ronaldo, 2003, he made his debut at 18 years old. Do you remember him at Manchester United, Adam?
Really?
Yeah, he made it 18 years old. By the way, your team won this weekend. How happy were you?
Who?
Tottenham. Did you even know they play this weekend?
Fish, I didn't watch soccer this weekend. I'm sorry, buddy. I was working.
Well, you could have at least checked the score.
He didn't have no money on it this time.
Yeah, sorry.
Did you even know they played?
I didn't know they were playing. Sorry, Fish.
Fish, you know he's watching it if he has money on it, all right?
That's right.
If he's got no money on it, he's not tuning in.
Sorry, Fish. What's next?
But that's your team. Is it not your team?
Nah, I just watch. Fish, I am an observer of all sports. I don't discriminate. If it's on TV, I'm probably going to watch it.
Okay. 2008, Usain Bolt got a 9.69 in 100 meters in Olympics.
Impressive.
We have some birthdays today.
Okay.
1966, Eddie Olczyk, hockey guy, played hockey for the Winnipeg Jets. He's born in that city called Chicago, and he did NHL on NBC. We have other birthdays. Did you guys like she did the halftime show, by the way? Yes, Madonna. It is her birthday today. You guys like it when she did the halftime show?
No.
Crickets. All right, cool. It's also Steve Carell's birthday.
Okay,
a lot
like
of
Steve
people
Carell.
love him from
All right,
The
I like
Office. And Detroit Lions, Trey Flowers. So, Corey, maybe you can take this with you. Trey Flowers' birthday. So make sure to tell him happy birthday. I don't know if he'll be happy or punch you in the face.
How old does he turn, Fish? You know?
1993.
Oh, so he's like...
So he's 28.
Even 8, yeah. Okay.
28, 29, but regardless, Fish, thank you so
It
much
is his
for
birthday,
your facts.
so
Anything
make sure
else?
Nope, those are the facts. We will See you tomorrow.
Awesome.
Thank
We'll
you,
get
Fish.
Fish's facts tomorrow. But we've got a really big announcement this Friday at Levels Provisioning grand opening and card giveaway this Friday, where Levels in Centerline. Join us. We'll be broadcasting down there all day. T Grizzly will be presenting his Grizzly Gas. It's a huge event. They're giving away a Dodge Challenger. It's pimped out, guys. Stop by, support us, and Levels Friday. Again, it'll be this Friday, August 20th. We'll be there all day on site, helping promote their grand opening. We'll see you right after the break to talk about Tebow time? Really, Kennedy? Tebow time after the break.
Morning, Art. Morning, D-Mac.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back. Okay, this is going to be my favorite segment of the entire show, and it's because it's about Tebow time. I'm so excited. Adam, thank you for allowing me to have this time to gush about Tim Tebow. Even though there's probably not that much to say. Did you guys catch any of the game?
I did. I watched him run into his offensive lineman and try to block his own guy. I watched his open pass get taken by another player because he just stood there like a statue.
See, I kind of thought maybe that play was like good communication instead of like getting in each other's way. Because they were both right there.
Okay, let me say this.
I think it was meant for Tebow, though.
He played 16 snaps.
Yeah.
And then I'll say this. In 16 snaps, we got everything we needed. All right, we got a poor block attempt. We got he ran a horrible route, which ended up Tavon Austin stole his pass, and then he spearheaded his teammate on accident. So you know what? It is what it is. Tebow's trying. He's trying.
Kennedy, do you really think this guy's going to make the team?
I actually really do think he's going to make the team, but I don't think it's going to be because of what we just saw in this last game. I mean, it was nothing impressive, unfortunately, because I was really looking forward to it. But I think Urban's going to give him a spot because they're boys. And I don't know how that makes me feel because I'm always one, like, if you're the hardest worker out there, if you're the best man for the job, you should get the position. So I don't know, Adam, do you think
in an ideal world, you're totally right. But in the NFL, when you're the hardest worker and you believe in Christ the way he does and you do all that amazing stuff and it's really great and it's good for TV and stuff, but you don't need your tight end blocking the offensive lineman on your own team.
That's what I'm saying. So do you think he's taking a spot away from someone else that deserves it?
I think Urban Meyer's doing him a solid.
Yep.
He's going to make the team. He's going to get his pension and then he's going to get cut. And then they're going to move on. And Tim Tebow will be making a handsome amount of money over the next however long lifetime, however long his pension is. I don't know. But
it's so hard because Urban Meyer loves the man. So he's giving him a chance. He's the fourth tight end on this roster in terms of depth chart. So if you're the fourth tight end and you're playing poorly, it doesn't look good. Doesn't look good for you. So, I mean, he has the name.
The only thing Tebow has going is he's playing for the Jaguars, and they're in a total rebuild. So there's, like, no expectations. If this was on a competing team,
he'd be gone.
A team that was actually looking to compete wouldn't even consider signing Tim Tebow. He's 34 years old. He's washed up. He's way past his prime, let alone him even having a prime. He kind of peaked in high school and college. So he's not meant for the NFL, Kennedy. He's going to make the team because of Urban Meyer.
Yeah.
He'll get his pension, and then, hopefully come October, November, hopefully sooner than that, I don't have to talk about Tim Tebow for the rest of my life. That would be amazing.
He's got 2 preseason games left. So if he comes out in the next 2 games, he's got one against the New Orleans Saints next Monday. If he comes out and just balls, I guess he has a chance, but it's hard because
the definition of balling out, like actually
catching some passes, running good routes.
I mean, honestly, at this point, I want to see him make a block.
We haven't seen him catch anything at this point.
But he's never open,
and you didn't.
You can't be open running routes like a doofus.
There were a lot of turnovers as well. It felt like every time Tebow hit the field, within the next 2 plays, it was in the hands of the Browns after that.
Honestly,
I feel like he didn't even get the chance.
No, it's not. It's his fault, first of all.
How the hell was that his fault?
When you block as poorly as Tim Tebow does, and when you run routes as poorly as Tim Tebow does, that means your quarterback has one less option, one less pass protector, which means they're throwing the ball quicker, which they don't want to do unless the guy is open, so they're being forced to make throws, and then they're being forced to look another way because their tight end, who's supposed to be open, isn't open, so they don't even have their safety check. So yes, there were a lot of turnovers because they have a bum on the field who's hurting the team. Damn. He's a bum. He's a bum. He's a bum.
Help me, Juicy. Let me ask Fish. All right, Fish, you know Tim Tebow. All right, he's 34 years old, Fish. You're the GM of the Jags. And his first preseason game, he played like crap. What do? Are you cutting him, Fish, even if you know him personally?
I'll let him go one game, and if he does the same thing, goodbye.
Give him one more preseason game. Give him the boot.
Yeah.
See, I respect that. Give him like one more.
The fact that he even made a preseason game tells me everything I need to know.
Well, you knew what happened. You knew he'd get a chance.
Fish, he gets a chance because Urban Meyer is there.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
He should not be there.
You sound shocked.
He shouldn't be getting a roster spot over any of these guys. There are so many people that can contribute more to the team than Tim Tebow. Sorry. He is what's the word? He's a certified bum. He shouldn't be playing in the NFL. He shouldn't be playing in high school. He couldn't probably line up and play against middle schoolers. He'd probably find a way to throw interceptions and run horrible routes the same way. He'll probably block his own middle school offensive lineman as well. So sorry, Tim Tebow shouldn't be in the league. It is an embarrassment for the NFL. I hate that we even have to talk about this. Kennedy, what do you have to say for yourself?
I will go ahead and change the subject. Since you were watching the game, what do you think about Marvin Jones? I thought he killed it.
Yeah, of course he killed it. He's a good wide
receiver.
receiver.
Trevor's going to love him this year.
Yeah, Trevor Lawrence has
so reliable.
Chark and Marvin Jones to throw to. I think Trevor Lawrence is going to enjoy himself. I think Trevor Lawrence looked good. He looked confident.
Yeah.
He looked calm in the pocket. He moved well in the pocket. Honestly, it was a good weekend for all the rookie quarterbacks. Even Zach Wilson made some good throws. You're like, okay, I can see that working. So it was
Jalen Hurts.
It was a good week for the NFL.
Any Philadelphia fans, Jalen Hurts didn't play that well, which I'm kind of disappointed because I had high expectations for him.
Yeah, Jalen Hurts is a bum too. Him and Tim Tebow could share the same locker.
Okay, listen. At least
Jalen Hurts is going to be washed up out of the league in 3 years. You can come back and run the tape on Daddy in 3 years. I promise you. Don't worry. Don't worry. I'll take care of everything for you.
Hold on. Put my camera on. I'm looking at. You make that bet. All right, a couple years.
All right,
Jalen Hurts. He's not bad. All right, you're acting like Tim Tebow is 34 years old.
Shake my hand on it. Shake my hand on it. $300. 3 years or less.
He's out of the league.
Take it, Juicy. All right. You guys are gonna
He's
fall out of
21
your
years
chair.
old.
All right, that is the first bet made on the Morning Woodward Show between me and Jeff. I'm sure there'll be many more to come.
I'll see you in 3 years, Adam.
I'll see you in 3 years, hopefully. Hopefully Tim Tebow isn't around in 3 years.
Which
I'll definitely take that bet. But regardless, again, Tim Tebow shouldn't be. I don't. It's a mess. It's a mess, Kennedy. I know you're in love with him and he's your favorite person in the world, but no, he's not a football player. He hasn't been a football player in 10 years, nor should he be a football player. There's a reason he was. I can't believe he was drafted in the first round and then rightly so cut from every team he ever joined.
I can't believe he was drafted in the first round after
him
his
going
performance at
24th
Florida.
overall to Denver is why Josh McDaniels struggles to get a head coaching job in the NFL to this day. That mark on his resume, drafting that bum, knowing he couldn't throw the football, knowing he couldn't do anything outside of pray to Jesus and run the football. That's all you got out of Tim Tebow.
He came from New England where only just reading the defense was important, and he goes after a guy who uses his legs and thought he'd have success.
That's why Josh McDaniels to this day will struggle to ever get a head coaching job in the NFL. Rightly so. When you support Tim Tebow, you're out of a job. It's that simple. Sorry.
You think Urban Meyer's going to be out of a job?
Urban Meyer could be out of a job.
Oh,
if he signs him.
If he signs Tim Tebow and they're struggling at tight end. I would be so angry. I am not risking my future quarterback because I want to take care of some little buddy that I want to get him his pension. I'm not putting my quarterback at risk. My tight end's job is to be similar to a check down running back. What's my safety option? If I'm a quarterback and all my wide receivers are covered, I'm looking for the tight end, and then I'm looking to the running back. I don't want to see Trevor Lawrence being murdered because Tim Tebow is blocking the center. I don't want to see
There's
it.
better blockers on that team
I'm
somewhere.
invested in the NFL for the next 30 years. Trevor Lawrence is going to be part of the next 10 to 15. I kind of want him alive. I don't want him to be eaten alive like Joe Burrow was last season. So, sorry, no, Tim Tebow shouldn't be a part of the team. We're not going to waste any more time on it. Guys, thank you so much for joining the Morning Woodward Show today. We had so much fun. Thank you for having us. Remember, again, this is the final week. We will be streaming on Facebook. Going forward, you can catch us live on the app. Find us Google, or you can find us on the Google Play Store. You can find us on the Apple Store. Search Woodward Sports Network, WSN Live, Woodward Sports. We're everywhere. Find a way. We'll be able to see us anywhere, basically. But going forward, again, we'll be on the app. Feel free to download it if you haven't. And of course, we'll be on YouTube and Twitter moving forward. Kennedy, thank you so much. Jeff, thank you so much. Art, Alex, Fish. Till tomorrow. We'll see you next time. Thank you for tuning in. This is the Morning Woodward Show on the Woodward Sports Network.